don't think that he could have done anything more. Like is hitting the ref actually in the face with a hat enough to do the job at that point?
It's a great question.
Yeah,
because at least from a public standpoint, you could. I mean, first of all, you just don't see that. You don't.
I started it. Don't click in.
No, I wasn't clicking anything. I swear to God. But you don't see that. You don't see coaches getting kicked out of games. You don't see them physically making contact with the official.
Yeah.
And just based on now,
just keep getting penalties.
The butterfly effect, though, would have been interesting because he would have been removed from the game.
And all the coaches thought they were going to get fired anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we don't even know if he does a press conference or if his tenor in the press conference changes.
That's true. The whole
because the butterfly effect of how it happens afterwards, there's a good chance
if they want to fire me thing wouldn't have happened.
It might not.
I mean, there's like a serious world where Icor shows up and he takes the questions and he's like, we fired him now. Like he's gone.
Yeah.
And then he does it right after.
I just talked with Bo. I fired his ass.
Yeah.
He's gone.
I told him
the bad man can't hurt you anymore.
I told him as he was walking back to the locker room in shame, you just keep on walking. Just keep on walking.
He would have loved to do that. Why didn't they didn't they do that? They probably should have done that.
Why didn't they fire him then?
Yeah.
It's a great question. Screwed it up. Well, what's the story? It was
who they were going to hire.
It's the powers that be, right?
There were some powerful people behind the scenes that were like, no, this isn't happening right now.
Yeah. Because seriously, all those coaches thought like, okay, well, we're done.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did. They all thought it was over.
Once again, a coach at Nebraska either fired too late or too early.
Timing has been everything every time.
If they fire him in that moment, it is not going to be received as poorly as it was even a year later. Because they were 8-4 at that time. They lost. They lost by 3 scores.
I think what would happen next? I mean,
they fired him. Put the ref's eye out with his hat.
He pokes the eye out.
They fired him in 2014, and the whole fan base was severed. It was split in half, basically. Right.
They would have hired Jim Tressel in 2013.
Yeah, they would have fired him in 2013. Everybody agrees. Like that guy is a loose cannon. He's insane. He just murdered a ref.
It doesn't.
He grabbed the first down spike and stabbed him
like in Saving Silverman.
It does make you wonder, as goofy as Eichhorst was, who he hires in 13 versus who he ended up with.
Jim Tressel.
I don't think he hires Jim Tressel. Based on how he handled the search the following year.
Who would it have been?
I don't know if he doesn't hire Jim Tressel. And I don't know if Jim Tressel takes the job even if he is offered it.
Show cause. Yeah, who's the hot
Let
name?
me look at the coaching carousel.
But that's the thing. Eichhorst didn't follow the coaching carousel in 14.
He just wouldn't grab Mike Riley randomly.
He was like, we need the anti-Bo. Mike Riley.
Yeah, so maybe he hires Mike Riley again.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe his mind is in a different spot where he doesn't think he needs the anti-Bo. Thus, he doesn't. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm trying to even remember other names that were rumored in that era, and I can't think of any. He was the main, like Jim Tressel. There was serious discussion. And look, it was probably just all message board fodder. But I remember just talking to a media member that is not around here, having like a 30-minute conversation one day. And he was like, I have heard the Jim Tressel, like that stuff is real. In Nebraska, and he is interested in Nebraska. Where was James Franklin at? Was he still at Vandy?
James Franklin was that cycle.
He was that cycle. Chris Peterson was that cycle too.
Chris Peterson was also that cycle to Washington.
That's sad to think about. If they go hire Chris Peterson.
Oh, I'm
my mom's
Lane
name.
Kiffin would have been available after USC that year.
That's right. He got fired that year on the tarmac.
He got tarmacked.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
UConn hired Bob Diaco in 2014.
We could have ended up with Diacomania literally a year ahead of time.
3 years. 3 years
ahead of time. Oh my God, that would have been amazing. You know who else was available in 2014? Carl Pelini. Let's see, that's NFL. Yeah, here are the coaches.
Scroll down, yeah.
Here are the coaches who were hired in the offseason of 13 into 14. Blake Anderson at Arkansas State.
Yeah.
Jeff Munkin at Army. Brian Harsin at Boise. Dino Babers at Bowling Green.
Who then moved on to Syracuse.
There's Diakomania, Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan. How would Husker fans have responded to a head coach with the last name Creighton?
Wow. Some debates?
Charlie Partridge in a pear tree over at Florida Atlantic.
Nice.
Bobby Petrino.
Oh, now we're talking.
Bobby Petrino.
Would they have
in 2014.
Well, Charlie Strong.
Do you know who else was hired in 2014? Mark Whipple.
Oh,
maybe Nebraska ends up with Whipplemania.
Charlie Strong goes to Texas. That was in that carousel too. They hired Charlie Strong. He was the hot group of 5 coach.
Maybe they would have hired Mac Brown. Mac Brown.
You know who they
That's
could.
John singing "I'm Mac Brown."
You know who that?
It's a classic song.
You know who else was hired that year? That might have been. Not saying he is going to be the guy. Jeff Braun.
Yeah.
Hired at Western Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He probably wouldn't have gotten.
He's a step away still.
Maybe. Yeah, possibly.
Riley, he obviously mentions Tressel. What about Bielema?
Bielema? We would never hire Bielema.
He had just come off of a bad year.
That was old Harvey Perlman.
They were 3-9 and 0-8 in conference play.
Well, because that was
Arkansas was.
So Harvey Perlman talked after they hired Riley, right? This is after they hired Riley, and they asked about Bielema, and he said we would never hire Bielema. What kind of character does he have? He is,
because
he just gets up and leaves all the time.
Remember, there was the rumor about him, and then he's like, "I'm all hog" or whatever he said. Oh man, that week was so insane because
the Riley week,
because like the Frost week, we were just like,
we knew,
okay,
we knew
it in October.
Yeah,
exactly. But the other week was weird because we were just like following all these rumors and like
it just popped up. The Nebraska Twitter account broke it, right? They were like, "Here, we just hired Mike Riley."
From the email, from the email from Keith Mann.
Yeah,
and I called John.
Usually those, big moves, that's gonna get reported at least a few times before it gets officially announced by the school.
His name literally never came up.
Never came up.
Never once.
Never came up.
So I guess, shout out to Icourse who did the whole thing in secret, but also shout out to him for doing the whole thing in secret. Not shout out to him.
Kelby says, I don't know how much Mike Gundy's name came up, but he wanted it. Oh, Gundy would have been a killer.
Yeah, Gundy
That's
said,
like right on the heels of him.
Gundy said like on the record he would have liked to coach at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. And there was a story a couple years ago. Gary Patterson, now he was interested in Nebraska after they fired Callahan. But and by that point, where they were in the Big 12, but they were just about to get like really good in the Big 12. I think 2014 was their because they almost went to the playoff. The first year of the playoff.
But you also you wonder a little bit too about how the rest of the coaching community greets the Nebraska job after firing another 9-win coach.
Mm-hmm. So at that time, he would have been an 8-win coach who swiped an official with his hat.
Right. That's true.
Who murdered a guy?
This is the butterfly of him doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
So made it a little easier to hire somebody, right?
I don't know.
I
really don't know.
Because I've always wondered, did he hire Riley because that's who he wanted, or because everyone was like, hell no, I ain't coming to Nebraska? And so he just kept going down and down and down the list.
I don't know how far he went down his list.
I don't either. Because it really, because what day of the week? Wasn't it like
Friday?
No, it wasn't a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Then he was hired?
Then it was announced. It was the end of the week.
I thought it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Maybe it was a Thursday. I thought it was. Yeah. Well, let's look at the calendar.
I think
what day of the week was
I think the press conference was a Friday. I think the introductory press conference, but I think the announcement
was
came
December
out
4th. I'm going to look up December 4th.
I thought it was like a Wednesday.
What day of the week was it? I have to look up December 2014 calendar.
I feel like it was a Friday because I went to the Coolio concert.
It was a Thursday. So they must have announced it.
I must have went to a
Coolio they announced it the next day because the press conference was on a Friday.
Husker fan of Dallas, the only time Nebraska's athletic department kept a secret. Amazing.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
the one time they kept their mouth shut is when they should have left.
Yeah,
because can you imagine
if that would have worked out?
Imagine if that stuff leaks out on Wednesday.
Oh,
if that stuff leaks out on Wednesday,
they Shiano him. We Shiano him.
It's possible.
Yeah,
it's I don't know if it gets quite that because what the hell are you going to look up on Mike Riley? At least with Shiano, even though it was totally fabricated and BS, they use the Penn State stuff against him. But there was nothing. I mean, there's nothing on Mike Riley.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can't be really that mad,
Unless
except for
you're-
the fact that it's just not up to
Right.
the
People didn't
standards.
even seem that mad. They just seemed confused. That's how I remember that moment.
Oh,
of
I
just
remember like
what?
maniacally laughing. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on right now?
But
Seeing a lot of people are, who's Mike Riley?
we ended up talking ourselves into it being okay. By
I thought in the moment it
for
was a good
sure.
hire because I liked what he had done at Oregon State. Like it seemed like they overachieved.
They convinced. I mean, the idea was out there. It's like, yeah, they can do more with more now.
Right.
Because they've been doing
Oh
more
yeah,
with less.
I always called it the grand experiment. You know,
Yeah.
the guy who has always done more with less now has more. You know, can he do something with it? And the answer to that was
Hell no. But how
not-
much of that was
not
him
really.
peaking earlier in his career versus maybe he just could never have done it at a place like this anyway?
I still think they just hired too many people. There was too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well,
you know?
yeah, honestly, it
Too
was.
many cooks.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the
many
parallel
cooks.
paths of Bill Callahan and Mike Riley are there's some parallels there,
Totally.
because those two coaches were hamstrung by the guy that hired them,
Absolutely.
because there was so much dislike of the guy who hired them. It made it difficult for the coach to really succeed.
And
Especially
by the
Callahan.
fan base like temperature as they take the job and as they get into it. Like we
Right.
get, you know, they got no leeway
None.
where the guys in between get, I mean, Frost.
I was going to say, yeah, it's the exact opposite
yeah,
of Frost.
Frost and Bo.
And even
Yeah.
Bo
Yeah.
for a while. Yeah.
But Bo didn't need the leeway because they won.
Because they won right
'Cause
away.
they won right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a parallel, because now the other big difference was Peterson, even though Peterson, you know, did his own stupidity. I mean, Eichhorst literally went out and hired, you know, Bob Diaco and kind of forced some things on Mike Riley. Bill
What was
Callahan was not a guy who had stuff forced on him. I mean, he
forced it on himself.
He did it to
What was
himself.
the thought on Eichhorst when they hired Riley? Because this is before, you know, this is like before he cancels Black Friday. You know, that's at the end of Riley.
I don't think
Like, I don't think the public perception was that bad at the time.
he definitely wasn't beloved, but he wasn't hated yet.
Right.
I think people were just more frustrated because he was very quiet.
Yeah,
and
Silent Sean.
yeah,
You're
he just-
asking questions for
yeah,
sure.
and
Right.
he just wouldn't say what he thought, you know, about Bo, and like that was the thing. He
Well,
was hired, and we all knew he was hired to fire Bo.
Honestly, the Bo, well, the Bo Leavers.
But he had hired Miles too, and you know, I think at that time it was still good. They had went to the
No, Osborne hired Miles.
yeah, that
or
was
not
like-
hired Miles, but you know, the basketball thing was in good shape, I guess. Yeah, that's
Definitely.
right. Osborne hired
Right.
Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, well, there was a general mistrust of Eichhorst from the Pelini supporters.
Yes.
You know,
and
in
look,
that
rightfully
moment.
so. You know, I mean, they
And
asked for
even-
stuff and
and-
they didn't get it.
And even those who wanted Bo out weren't necessarily feeling warm and fuzzies about Eichhorst. Eichhorst didn't have the negative perception like Peterson did when Peterson fired Frank.
Oh,
You know, because
yeah.
people turned on Peterson instantaneously. It's something from which he never recovered.
Yeah.
You know,
It was not the same with Eichhorst.
yeah, with Eichhorst, it took more time.
Because yeah, Bo was really disliked by a large chunk of the fan base. No, he's
Correct.
also really liked by a large chunk of the fan
Yes.
base.
But I mean, that's the critical moment right there. If they make the right hire in that moment,
Yeah, they had enough talent.
everything's different.
They had enough talent.
I mean, obviously.
But again, the problem was, as we found out with Eichhorst, he tended to meddle a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know,
what if
Well,
they
yeah,
hire?
so-
What if they hire Frost in that moment?
See, somebody said though they would have hired Frost, but he didn't get a call in 2014.
no.
So he's definitely not getting
And
a
he
call.
said he's glad he didn't.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and along the lines of what John just
They
said,
didn't like Eichhorst.
Asian Joe tweeted in a few minutes ago. He goes, "The fact that Eichhorst thought Diaco was the best coach in the department should tell you about his judgment."
That was
he was an
awesome.
idiot.
yeah.
He was just a bad talent identifier.
He had no personal skills. You know, he was bad
No.
with people.
Yeah, it was just
I'm not a people person.
it was a really odd fit all the way around, and in many ways, you know, it's a hire. That hire is a lot more puzzling than the Steve Peterson hire was.
Yeah, Peterson
Made sense.
That was
at
a
the time.
celebrated hire.
It was
Osborne signed off
it was
on
a
it.
very celebrated hire.
You go watch the beginning of the Fiesta Bowl in 1996. Peterson's up front with Osborne walking out onto the field.
Right.
I mean, like that dude was close to the
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was a killer
Peterson,
hire.
Peterson, he turned heel, and that's what got people on him. Whereas Eichhorst from the beginning was just like and he never really ingratiated himself to anybody.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, unlike Bill Moose, who swung the exact opposite.
Oh,
way.
yeah.
I'll do everything.
Eichhorst
I'll
tried
do
to-
everything to make you happy.
He tried to do a little bit of that. He would try to be like, the guy in public.
Yeah.
After that became a criticism about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And that
whereas-
was the thing with
whereas
him. Like
Moose-
he would listen to people and be like, oh, okay, I need to get out more. I'll go wear blue jeans and get out more.
Yeah.
Like that's what he did.
Whereas Moose did stuff that we haven't seen before or after since. Or I mean, he came on all 3 shows on the station.
Oh yeah.
He was going on non-Husker Network stuff all the time early on.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end, he was talking to Sipple. And
Yeah,
Sarah
in many
Carroll.
ways. I mean, really, in many ways, Moose was kind of similar to the Riley hire. He was the anti-Eichhorst hire.
I know.
And as we find out, when
Yeah.
you make those wild vacillations,
Bad
it
deal.
doesn't always work.
You could say Trev is maybe one of the first football kind of related hires in a while where he's not just a wild swing. Now I know he's different than Moose, but I don't look at him and say like he's the exact opposite of Bill Moose.
No, he's
In
just like a
every way.
normal guy, a good hire.
He's a normal guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a dude.
He's a normal guy.
Congrats on Nebraska.
This is the
hiring a
bar
normal
for
guy.
hiring practices.
Can you just hire me a normal guy?
When you be normal?
Which takes us back to last week's crossover of who's the most normal guy in the building.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, who did we decide on?
Yeah, who's the most
I think we
hireable?
went with Josh.
Josh, that's right. Yeah.
Producer Josh. I think.
Josh, most hireable AD/coach.
Nice. Congratulations to Josh.
Wow, I didn't even get a vote.
No, you
No,
were in
you
the
were last.
weirdest discussion.
One of the weirdest. Yeah.
One of the weirdest, not the weirdest. One.
Yeah.
Weirder than Shane.
No,
Well, I
Shane was
guess
the
in
winner.
building. Okay.
Well, no,
Shane was out.
yeah, Damon.
Damon is the winner, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damon was the winner.
You're right there though. You're pretty close.
Yeah, you
Okay. Well,
you held your own.
Yeah.
You held your own. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Another trip through what if history.
That was fun. Josh, he is watching. Thank you, Josh. He says, I accept. Congratulations to Josh. That's awesome.
Yeah. We agreed. He was the most normal guy in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think he's accepting the athletic director coach thing. I think. he
Oh
wants
yeah.
that, too.
Congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Congrats.
Josh for next coach.
There you go.
Or next athletic director.
Oh, we're going to be replacing another producer then in a few months.
Yeah.
Indeed.
As long as he shares his contacts.
See ya.
There you go, friends. That was your crossover. And we have a busy program today. We'll get her started next on 1620 The Zone.
From the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Heat starting to creep back in Wednesday. Expect mostly sunny skies throughout the day. Hot and muggy in the afternoon with a light southwest breeze. Highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 13th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your erectile dysfunction without any pills or side effects. If you're ready to regain your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, and it's only good today, Wednesday, July 13th. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and see what can happen in your relationship. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 402-671-7777.
Inflation. You feel it at the grocery store buying groceries for your family. You feel it paying your utility bills. You especially feel it every time you fill up your vehicle with gas or diesel. Hi, I'm Mark Schlange, owner of Marketplace Nebraska. We help individuals and businesses save money on health insurance. We recently saved a company over $60,000 in health premiums. If we could save you money and take the sting out of higher prices, wouldn't it be worth a call? Let's talk. I'm here to help. Visit marketplacenebraska.com. That's marketplacenebraska.com.
When it comes to cement fiber siding, you want durability, hail and chip resistance, and beauty. You want James Hardy cement fiber siding. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Call Carp's today or visit carpsomaha.com.
Across the country, more than 3,000 people were killed by distracted driving. 3,000 mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and friends. In Nebraska, distracted driving related crashes have gone up 32% since 2010. That's 4,500 crashes, 1,500 injured, and more than 100 dead. Using your phone while you drive is illegal. Drive safely. Somebody's waiting for you back home.
Visit nedrivingconcern.org. Brought to you by the Nebraska chapter of the National Safety Council and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Katie was recently told by a competitor that her transmission needed to be replaced. She thought the cost seemed a little too high, so she called us. We towed it from that shop and verified the transmission was in fact bad. We did the job and saved her over $1,500. Sometimes a second opinion can save you a lot of money. Don't overpay. Call Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Well, maybe we need to take Husker fan of Dallas's suggestion and just dedicate Wednesdays to what ifs in Husker history.
I love that idea. That is an original summer content idea.
It is.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
My only problem with it is most of the what if moments that we come up with happen organically. And so if we actually had to sit down and think out, all right, what are we going to do today? It wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, that came up out of nowhere. I don't remember why. Oh, the tassels thing. That's how that started. Tassels on a glove.
Tassels on a catcher's mitt.
Yeah.
Led to Bo Pelini's hat smacking the ref, killing him instantly. Bo getting ejected and fired.
The Mike Riley era.
In one fell swoop.
The Sean Eichhorst era.
And then trying to figure out, okay, who are they?
By the way, and we never got a chance to get to this.
It's amazing. Thank you very much, Kansas City
Yeah,
Royals. By the way,
Royals.
they did change the call. He was out.
Oh, good.
And the Royals are winning 3-1.
Yeah, amazing Daniel. He tweeted at us very early in the discussion. We never got around to it. But your version of a catcher's mitt, where you're just hitting people with your tassels. You're
Absolutely,
out.
Man.
Get out.
Seriously, if I'm a catcher right now and I see that replay, I'm going to my catcher's mitt and I'm going to add at least another 2 to 3 inches at the end of every tie, every lace on my glove.
I love it. That's a good idea.
Because I mean, it counts. Meanwhile, if I'm a batter, I'm instantly sizing up 2 sizes on my jersey.
Oh yeah, your
so it's like
strategy
it's
involved.
just like hanging
Inflating
all over me.
Filing tube man.
It's just jerseys hanging all over.
Man, weird times. And then we get.
Oh, now what?
Well, we get people that are a little sourpusses about this discussion, like Lucas. Slow day in the office. It's July 13th.
Yeah,
that was a fun discussion.
Yeah,
I just wanted, because I asked who are the other rumored names, because the only one that I could actually remember from 2013 was Tressel.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the others. Now, we've got a lot of names from people. Jim Grobe, Scott Frost, among others. Turner Gill.
Is Jim Grobe's Wikipedia, does it just include perpetual Nebraska football head coaching
Right?
candidate.
I don't remember him from 13. I thought that he was just a 2007, 2008 kind of guy.
I just instantly assume Jim Grove is mentioned every
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, the entire time Nick just keeps tweeting about wanting to talk Formula One.
The French Grand Prix has a giant gorilla. If you win, you get a gorilla. It's a gorilla trophy.
And that's our Formula One talk for the day.
Cool.
Good discussion. There is
What the hell
actually.
are you going to do with a gorilla?
I don't know. What do people do with animals? I don't know.
Well, in Cincinnati, they shoot them.
They do.
R.I.P. Harambe.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, that trophy makes more sense for the Cincinnati Grand Prix, not the French Grand Prix. What do gorillas have to do with the French?
I looked it up.
No. Don't ask, because then he's going to tell us.
Oh, yeah.
Then we'll have to talk more Formula One.
Coming up on the program today.
We do have a Formula One question, though, Nick, in Dumb Debates.
Is it like
It's
a
for
good
John.
one? Okay.
It's a funny one.
Okay.
It's funny. In my opinion, it's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
Exactly.
Roofery's starting lineup powered by the John Higgins Weather Guard Roofery's. Josh Jones, head coach of the Omaha Blue Crew, who will be in action this weekend. The TBT begins this weekend, and it's taking place over at Sokol Arena.
Awesome.
On the campus at Creighton University. This is the tournament where the winner gets $1 million, and they split it up amongst the teams. Doug McDermott is one of Josh's assistants. Is there like a secret power play going on behind the scenes? Is Doug trying to take over the team? No, of course not. But Josh Jones will join us. Mike Schaefer, Brian Barnhart, the voice of Illinois.
Awesome.
As Illinois is today.
Speaking of Bielema.
Sunday school.
Summer school.
Summer school.
It's almost over, John. Don't worry. We'll be done with this
Thank
exercise
God.
next week.
And dumb debates.
Oh, wow. What a day.
And dumb debates.
And Nick trying to get us to talk Formula One.
It's a gorilla trophy.
Nope.
It's tradition. It was designed by a French sculptor in 2004.
How come it's just not a giant white flag?
They surrender one war one time, and everybody gives them a bad rap.
All
if it wasn't for the French, we wouldn't have a country, John. The French helped us.
You guys do this
beat
every
the
week.
British.
You debate the French every week.
There's no debating it.
You know, you guys should do a podcast.
Because
Debate
John's
the French.
objectively wrong.
Welcome to
I'm not
Debate
wrong.
the French with John Bishop and Nick Grimm.
I'm not wrong. And I don't want to debate.
He and my dad make the same French joke all the time.
It's a very
like
tired joke.
a very
I don't even
specific
care.
to his
I'm
generation joke.
sorry you're a fan of the French.
I'm not a fan of I'm
So Putin, France.
I have no issues.
You both hate the
I
Ukraine.
have no issues with the French. I love croissants. I like croissants a lot. I have no issues with them. I'd love to go there
You know
someday.
what? Croissants. Here's a hot take for you.
Croissant?
Croissants only good on the croissandwich.
Oh, definitely not.
Outside
That's
of
a
that,
weird take.
outside of that,
Second to last day in Mexico, one morning I ate 5 of them.
I only like
It was
croissants
awesome.
if it's
If
at
I'm-
a fast food burger sandwich.
Well,
Dude,
seriously.
that's the best breakfast fast food sandwich in the game, though. That thing is so
I
good.
don't know if it's the best,
It's
but
good, but it's not like
it's one
the-
of the best things Burger King does.
it's
it's
not
the
the
best
best,
thing they do.
croissant situation.
Burger King, not very good otherwise, but that sandwich is delicious.
I tried the Chiking last night.
Oh, yeah, we still got to do our
Yeah,
sandwich thing.
Well,
And you're gone this week.
yeah.
Maybe next week, because then I'm gone the following Friday.
All right.
Sorry, I was
Next
gone
week.
last week.
Yeah, geez,
We'll
what happened
figure
with
it
you,
out.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, croissants.
Yeah, well, I like them.
I'd rather, if I'm going to put some. Well, you probably just ate it plain because you're afraid of jelly. Stuff that has.
I just
warm
don't like
fruit in it.
jelly.
But if I'm going to put like some jelly on or jam on something, I'd just rather have a piece of wheat toast.
People
Yeah,
put
yeah,
jelly and
croissant.
jam on croissant.
Well, why wouldn't you? What else you're just gonna eat them plain?
Butter.
I mean, yeah, they're buttered.
Boring.
They're buttered and flaky.
Well, then I would rather have just a nice piece of homemade bread than a croissant.
My mom says that Hardee's has the best breakfast sandwich, hands down. It's a good dumb debates topic. Who has the best?
This is dangerous. We
it's
shouldn't talk
been
about
it's
food.
been so long since I've had Hardee's breakfast. I can't speak to that.
Yeah, I used to go there like all the time when Chick and Nick, RIP, when they would host a show there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The old days.
No, there's nothing wrong with Hardee's. Nothing wrong at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just haven't had breakfast there in a long time.
Yeah.
You know what they don't serve? Surrender croissants.
Well, that's because it's Hardee's.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we set up your lineup today. 402-951-1620 if you want to get in touch with us on the program. If you're friends of the program, That is one of the most amazing.
You know what? Remember how a few weeks ago I was complaining about not having TweetDeck anymore? So I downloaded a different browser. See, now I basically use a different browser just for my TweetDeck.
Oh, so you're blaming the browser
because that one browser was the one that didn't autocorrect words, and so I switched away from it.
I'm still trying to figure out
because I just typed it so fast it didn't autocorrect it. I'm like, what the hell? Why would you have the auto? And it just does the squiggly line. Fix it for me.
FREIDN. I'm trying to figure.
You should have leaned into it. You said you did it on purpose.
No, because John took it immediately, and
it was hilarious.
It's fine. Like, it's just a misspelled word.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing to like revert. You didn't reverse 2 letters. You reversed 4 letters.
Well, you know,
you went to journalism school. They taught you how to write.
And that's
why.
That's
why my excuse is I don't technically have a journalism degree.
Well,
I'm allowed to misspell.
That's why it made me laugh.
Oh, I could tell.
It was funny because I was trying to figure out how do you do that.
Just typed it really fast. Didn't check. Because I don't reread. Here's the thing. I don't reread my tweets. I just tweet. And then that's how I misspell words. And you and Caleb were just having a grand old time. Meanwhile, I was like, all right, screw you, Opera. I'm done with you. And then I had to put a different browser as my tweet did.
I'm just going to start not rereading my daily lineup tweets and seeing what happens.
Yeah, see, now I do reread those because I ain't trying to screw up on those.
Well, that's
powered by the rooferys at John Higgins Weather.
Powered by the rooferys.
So when I tweet friend in the morning, I misspell things sometimes.
It's just, it was, I found it was funny because at least you got all the letters right.
I got all the letters right.
Yeah, they were basically there.
Turned them all
like, why do you have the autocorrect option on if you're not going to fix the word? Stupid browser. I got rid of it. I'm done with that browser. I deleted it.
It's a poor craftsman who blames his tools.
Yeah,
I think it's your crappy Apple keyboard.
No, the Apple keyboard's great.
Or like a crapple keyboard, am I right?
Damn it. Damn it. See, now look what you did, Mike, who changes his name. Now he's frightened of the program.
I was a little disappointed. I thought I worked hard to find that meme of the Friends title card and change the spelling.
You did.
That's really well done.
There is actually a meme out there where you can take the Friends title card and
type
in
really?
whatever you want. But I had to search for it. I just thought it was funny.
Anyway. Steve says, you went to Mexico and ate Burger King? That's the Joshiest thing yet. No. I didn't say that.
He did it when he wasn't at the pyramids.
No,
he did it while he was golfing.
I ate croissants, literal croissants at the resort, Steve. Man, there's nobody listening these days. Nobody pays attention to anything I say. No, I didn't go to any fast food joints in Mexico. I ate at the resort, and then I did go.
I got food delivered.
And we didn't even do that. Not one night did we order room service. Maybe we did once. I don't remember. It might have been a late night. We might have had a little fun that day. Every day. Mexico. What a trip. All right.
I'm sure it was great.
It was.
Hope you had a good time golfing and eating Burger King in Mexico.
One golf, no Burger King. I shouldn't have even read that tweet. What a stupid tweet from Steve. What a dumb tweet.
Great tweet.
All right. Stand by. We got a lot to come today. Josh Jones will join us here in about 15 minutes or so here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct and 1620 The Zone. John Bishop here for McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning. They have been in the business of providing great customer service for over 50 years. And really, that's what they've always been about. Just like their slogan, always on time or you don't pay a dime. They make sure that every one of their technicians properly trained, certified, and drug tested. They take every situation seriously. If you have an AC problem, they treat it as if it was their own problem because they want to make sure that your fixes happen properly. And that's why they have issues or situations like the Comfort Club. The Comfort Club at McCarthy's allows you the ability to get a twice yearly check of your AC and furnace, safety checks, discounts on repairs, 90-day maintenance fee guarantee, and you move to the front of the line when things get busy. Plus, Comfort Club membership fees never change for the lifetime of your membership. So, when you think heating and air, think McCarthy's 1 hour. McCarthy's1hour.com.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time, which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try new Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. New Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a drama coach to be an IT guy.
Yeah, I'm having trouble logging in.
I'm not buying it. Say it again, this time with feeling.
I can't log in?
Come on, man. I want to feel your struggle.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Now, like your life depends on it.
I can't log in.
Yes, we'll make an actor out of you yet.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. When Lee Franklin Jr. moved to Omaha, he brought his love for Louisiana cooking with him. That's when he and his partner, Montoya Johnson, opened a Taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. A Taste of New Orleans is the go-to spot in the 402 for authentic Cajun and Creole cuisine. Andouille fries and sausage, beignets, po' boys, jambalaya gumbo, and so much more. A Taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. And be on the lookout for their food truck coming to a stop near you.
The Lindley Clothing Summer Sale is on now. Save big time. Store-wide Lindley Clothing Summer Sale. Lindley Clothing at Linden Market, 132nd, just north of Dodge.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Looking forward to our conversation with Josh Jones in a few minutes of Omaha Blue Crew. Also, Mike Schaefer still to come with Nebraska and recruiting. Didn't get a chance to get to this yesterday, but they have officially set the dates. Speaking of the Omaha Blue Crew, or
save the date?
No, don't have to save any dates.
Oh,
the dates are already set. Thus, there's no need to save a date.
Save them.
You don't have to save it
in your
because
calendar.
The date's already set.
Or your
calendar.
Or your
the whole comment
planner,
about the
I
save
guess.
the date is you don't need to do that if you just invite people and say here's the date. There's no point in.
But you save the date and then you invite them for
which
the
is,
date.
again, does that make
another one of the original dumb debate topics?
Yeah. Creighton will play 2 games in Las Vegas this year.
Oh yes, this was official.
Yeah, we already knew Creighton was playing BYU.
See, hadn't we learned the Arizona State thing, or was that just reports?
Oh, that was reports.
Okay,
because
I thought
there was
they were both
because they were looking for another opponent to play in Las Vegas.
Okay,
and that other opponent is Arizona State. So they're going to play 2 games in 3 days at the Michelob Ultra Arena, which is the Mandalay Bay.
Okay.
They'll play BYU on that Saturday, and then the following Monday, they'll play Arizona State. So if you're a Jays fan and you can't get to Hawaii, this would be a fine alternative because you see two good games. Plus, you can be in Las Vegas for a Sunday. You could go to the sports book and just engorge yourself on the NFL. No, the Raiders are not in town. We already looked it up. The Raiders are not in town. But could be quite the trip. This is going to be just a crazy year because you got the Hawaii trip, you got the Texas trip, and then you have this.
Mm-hmm.
So
seriously, man,
and then of course, all the anticipation.
I
for
was
the
going to say
season,
just the expectations
the Big
in
East schedule.
general.
Yeah, this is I'll be fascinated to see. It's tough to say that it's going to be as big as 2013-14 was because that was the first year of the Big East.
But
this is pretty darn close.
And I can't remember if you and I talked about this with Ravi in an interview or if Ravi and I talked about this one time when he was filling in, but he told either us or me that how he viewed that 2013-14 year was with a little bit more kind of worry and concern.
Right.
Like there's a Missouri Valley roster. Granted, they had a top 10 player in the sport, and we would learn over the course of that year he was the best player in the sport. But there was excitement, but there was also kind of oh man, I hope this goes okay.
Right.
Whereas this time, and I don't want to judge every Creighton feeling off of just Ravi, but you can hear the confidence when he talks about this team. He's excited, but he is very, very bullish. Very, very bullish.
Well, just
and he should be.
Just go to the official GoCreighton.com and look at the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the roster.
Dude, it's a loaded roster.
It's a loaded roster with a combination of experience and youth, but some high-rated recruits mixed in, guys like Frederick King, for example, Jason Green from here in Omaha. And those will be the supplement guys to the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, the Big East Freshman of the Year, Arthur Kaluma, who I saw earlier this week, looking ahead to next year's NBA draft, was like a top 20 pick. Baylor Shireman, oh, by the way.
People forget.
One of the biggest pickups of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw in this schedule. Like, damn. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun.
I don't see now. You always get mad at me for wanting to fast forward to summer. You're trying to fast forward to the end of football season.
No, I'm not fast forwarding anything.
I'm not here for it.
I'm just saying it's going to be fun.
You know what the worst time of year is? It's a Saturday morning when you see on the bottom line, you're like, wait, Duke's a top 5 college football. Oh, that's right. That's stupid basketball. Get off my bottom line,
I'm
hoops.
not fast forwarding anything. I'm just saying it will be fun once
It's
it
going to be
gets
so much
here.
darker and colder. The snow.
It's kind of
the
snow
snow
how it
won't
works.
be done.
It's kind of how it works in the wintertime.
See, again, I can hear you being excited for it. Meanwhile, I'm like, hey, football season's almost here, and you get mad at me. Disgusting. Despicable.
I'm not trying to fast forward anything.
Despicable.
I want my time off. This is my busy season. I want a little more time off.
You do get very busy.
I want
to do every big red overreaction, and
There's
you
not
have
going
to
to be any
call.
big red overreaction. I told you we're canceling it.
It's not canceled.
Yep, I'm canceling it.
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm canceling it ahead of time because if we're going to be playing 9:30 at night games in Lincoln against USC, I'm canceling big red overreaction. Just done. No more.
The Husker Synagogue show on Saturday morning.
Yeah, the Husker Synagogue show. That'll be done. It'll be over.
Everything is canceled?
Everything's canceled.
Disgusting.
Well,
can't believe you're doing
someone's got to pay the price for all this nonsensical conference realignment shuffling.
So
crap.
you're going to be the one to pay the price?
No, everyone is.
Oh, okay.
All of you who, you're just going to have to get drunk and sit there in silence and not listen to your
silent
radio
boys.
or your stream.
By the way, real quick, one more on football season. Susan emails in. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No.
She asks, did you see the win-loss predictions for Frost? That wasn't even the most surprising prediction. This is talking about Phil Steele. He says the offense will average over 500 yards per game and 33 points per game. Did you see this? Did you hear about this?
I heard about the 33 points. I didn't see the yards. I didn't know Phil Steele went so far as to predict
it's pretty
the amount of
nerdy.
yards.
33 points would be a top 30 scoring offense. 500 yards last year would have been the 4th best in the country. Wow, Phil Steele, bullish.
Phil Steele has got the same computers that all the other nerds have. It is incredible.
Those computers.
It is incredible. The outside perspective versus the inside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The outside perspective is very bullish on Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
The inside perspective is, where are you people getting this stuff from?
Though there are a lot of people around here who are indeed bullish.
That bullish though?
Not that bullish. Their bullishness mainly comes from they could definitely go 9-3, but not they'll have a top 5 offense.
They have a top 5 offensive line?
I don't think so.
Not that you necessarily have to have a top 5 offensive line to have a top 5 offense, but it helps to have a really good offensive line.
That's a good take.
It helps to have a really good offensive line if you're going to do stuff like that. Josh Jones, the coach of the Omaha Blue Crew, joins us next as we get ready for the TBT, which is short for the basketball tournament.
Oh, not Throwback Thursday?
Nope. That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
On 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Hey, here's your 4 grilled cheese double burgers. Enjoy your Sonic.
So, could you ever overachieve something?
Can you overachieve?
No, not overachieve. Overachieve.
What do you get when you combine 2 cheesy, craveable classics? The Sonic Grilled Cheese Double Burger. Made with 3 slices of melty American cheese layered between 2 100% pure seasoned beef patties and held together by thick Texas toast. Try one half price when you order in the Sonic app. Exclusions apply. See app for details. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Caffeine comes from a leaf, tea comes from a leaf, Kratom comes from a leaf. Kratom may seem new, but it's an all-natural product that has helped people for centuries with pain, anxiety, and so much more. At 42 Degrees, we carry only the highest quality Kratom that is sealed, inspected, and certified so that you can get all of the benefits of real Kratom and know that it's safe. At 42 Degrees, we care about your health. So ask for our Kratom certifications at any of our 8 convenient locations. For hours and locations, go to 42degrees.com. Buy your mom's house.
Omaha Storm Chasers fans, assemble! Join us on Friday, July 22nd for Marvel's Defenders of the Diamond, featuring an appearance by Thor. The team will wear special Black Panther jerseys that'll be auctioned off during the game, so don't miss your chance to go home with a piece of the fun. Dress as your favorite Marvel superhero and get your tickets today at omahastormchasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm with family.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
This weekend, the tournament begins, and Omaha is a host. Several months ago, when it was announced that Omaha would get a regional, we had our next guest on the phone to talk about it, and now the time for organizing is done. The time for coaching and winning begins. Let's welcome in former Creighton Blue Jay and the head coach of your Omaha Blue Crew, Josh Jones, to the program. Josh, Are you ready for Saturday night?
I am. I'm ready. The question is Omaha ready? Happy for it to finally be here. The work has been put in, and now it's just a matter of jump ball.
Jump ball, get it going. My question is this, because you brought in Marcus Foster. I mean, we're bringing in heavy hitters again this year. Does Marcus Foster have a perpetual green light?
Huh. Marcus Foster just has a stop sign and proceed with care. That's the best way to put it. No, he has a green light. I'm just joking. You can't put a filter on Marcus Foster. Marcus Foster is Marcus Foster. So he's like me. We laugh and joke because as I'm coaching him, I was like, man, you remind me of myself. You've never met a shot that you never liked.
Josh, we always got to self-scout ourselves. What did you learn from last year going 1-1 that you can apply this year?
Honestly, on a serious note, what I learned from last year that I can apply is more depth in the forward position. That's why we got great guys like Trayshawn Thurman. Also, there's a young individual that you guys or RC never heard of before, and then Kenneth Perkins. You got Greg Smith returning from Omaha, Ronnie Harrell. We got a lot of length. And then when it comes to schemes and things like that, knowing that it's Elam ending and a different type of ending of a ball game, you got to be more conscious of your strategy. So if anything, I'm prepared for a different strategy towards the end.
Austin Chapman was on last year's team. Of course, he's back on this year's team running the point. But you mentioned Ronnie Harrell a moment ago. How much point will Ronnie run for this team?
Well, the exciting thing is everyone's so talented on the handle that our 1 through 4 is very interchangeable. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but Ronnie Harrell was Defensive Player of the Year in Israel in his just last professional season. So with that being said or whatever, we'll always have 2 point guards on the floor. We have a primary with the 1 spot, and our trail man definitely will be a point guard too. I guess I'm giving away some secrets, right?
That's all right. Team Overtime is not listening right now, so I think
okay.
I think
they got to stop it. They got to stop it.
That's right.
Josh, did you have some fun with Devrel Biggs, former Husker, of course, saying like, "Hey, now you're wearing the blue"?
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Y'all say former Husker. I say Central High School backup to me, state champion.
Love it.
Different. So I don't even see them. I know a lot of times when I see Coach McDermott, I always joke around and say I'm a J-sker, but you know I bleed blue, man. I bleed blue.
Now, wait a minute. You said Coach McDermott. Which Coach McDermott are we talking about? Because you have one, too.
I'll tell you what. Actually, I'm talking about Coach Greg. Doug, that's not nothing that I have to say to Doug because, Doug is Doug, but Coach Mack, I like to pull his hair out and make him have more grades. So, I say a lot of shock jock things to him all the time.
So what's it going to be like to have Doug with you? Active NBA player, obviously greatest player in Creighton basketball history, but just to have, that kind of experience with you on the bench, what do you want to try to tap into Doug's mind as far as helping this team win?
Well, first of all, just having his presence on a bench is huge because, definitely brother to the ones that he's played with and tight relationships to the others who are not Blue Jays. But obviously for him playing at the highest level of basketball, just playing around them we'll have like a player personnel, like a player coach's perspective. The greatest thing about Doug that I appreciate is he literally had a conversation with me maybe 2 days ago and explained and reassured me that he trusts my judgment and he wanted to just be big on encouraging players to execute the things that we're looking for.
Plus, if anything, heck of a scout team player too. If you want to put him out there in a practice jersey,
I know we already talked about it. It's just a matter if he wants to play or not. Don't get me wrong. Doug is a gamer, so you never know. He might suit up in a uniform.
Oh, that would be interesting to say the least. Josh Jones joining us, the head coach of Omaha Blue Crew. They get underway Saturday night, 7 o'clock over at Sokol Arena. By the way, that game will be aired right here on 1620 The Zone. Gary and Connor are going to have the call for you, and as long as the Blue Crew continue to play here in Omaha, we'll have games for you here on 1620 The Zone. What do you know, Josh, about Team Overtime, your first opponent?
I know that they have two projected 2023 NBA draft pick, top 5. I know that they have 2 second early rounders, and I know that they have some guys who have actually played pro before. So we know that they're going to want to look for highlights, look to get out the run. So it's just a matter of us playing our game, but also stopping them in transition.
Josh, what type of atmosphere are you expecting? That Sokol, obviously very intimate, can be a whole lot of fun. What are you expecting for this game?
I'm expecting Blue Jay Nation. You know, I mean, that's what it is. The star is great. So it's kind of like you got your locals here, you know, the hometown heroes such as Thurman, Smith, and Big, and also myself too. So I'm just expecting Omaha, Nebraska to show TBT how we do it. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, and it's not just the Creighton game. Obviously, the whole regional is here, so there's going to be a lot of games going on starting as early as, I think it's 11 a.m. is the first game on Saturday.
11 a.m.
Yeah, 11 a.m., then 1, then the 5 o'clock game. There'll be a little break in the middle, 5 o'clock game, and then, of course, the Blue Crew will play at 7. Then the semifinals in that region would be Sunday, 5 and 7, and a championship Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And I just saw a tweet go out from the Blue Crew a moment ago. It's not a sellout yet, but it's getting close. Make sure you get your tickets.
If I can be accurate, I think we're maybe about 300 tickets shy.
Oh, awesome.
You know? And if I'm wrong, let's just fabricate it so people can get tickets to be there.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just retweeted it. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster for this tournament. And yes, there will be some national television coverage as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you remember last year, went down to the wire that first game, and we were watching it here in studio last year when the Blue Crew won, got their first round win. So you know it's time to improve on that.
I definitely got to give credit to you guys know him as Deverell Big. We call him Big Shot Big. That was big for what we got going on today.
Amen. Well, Josh, good luck. I'm looking forward to watching you guys and rooting you on. And let's get to Dayton. Dayton, I believe, is where the Final Four is, correct?
August 3rd. We're playing for $1 million.
That's right. But it all starts here in Omaha this weekend over at Sokol Arena. Josh Jones, the head coach of the Omaha Blue Crew. Appreciate it, Josh. Thanks. Go get them.
Thank you.
You bet. Josh Jones joining us here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Yeah, I just tweeted out the link. I think Josh is right. It looks like, just judging by the blue dots, probably less than 300 tickets.
That's awesome. And seriously, we talked about the UConn game that Creighton played, the women played earlier this year, and how fun that environment can be when that building is full.
Right.
Just given how small it is, the sightlines are obviously awesome. So that can be a pretty good atmosphere.
It can. And a chance to root on a bunch of Omaha guys. And I know I don't remember the exact timing, but I know that some of the current Jays will be there to sign autographs. They're going to do an autograph signing there. And I think Baylor's going to be there. I think Nemhard's going to be there. I think Kalk is going to be there. I think Kaluma's going to be there. I saw. I'll double check during the next break, but they tweeted that out last week. So yeah, there'll be some other things going on as well in regards to the TBT here in Omaha. Some good basketball. Chance to watch some good basketball. Be inside where it's cool, and because it's there at Sokol, they sell beer.
They do sell beer. That's true.
They sell beer.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have some fun.
Look at you saying it's cool inside, like it's the 1920s, and you're going to see Gone with the Wind.
Well, yeah,
I don't say there's the air conditioning inside, folks.
You don't want it to be hot.
Wow. No, that's true. I like the inside.
The action on the floor will be hot, but you'll be nice and cool and comfortable.
Look at you, you're giving things to Gary and Happer to say on the broadcast. It might be hot outside.
I don't have to give them anything. They're professionals. They know what to do. They know what's going on.
Yeah. Is something going on?
Well, someone was out there taking a picture of our son.
That's Nikki. That's a coworker. We work with her.
I didn't recognize her in the hat.
She's probably doing a TikTok thing.
I didn't.
Nikki's a cool backwards hat person today.
No, her hat was on forward.
Oh, it's forward? It was backwards.
I didn't recognize her with the hat.
Wow.
I thought it was just some,
Who's that woman out there? Get out of here, woman. That's
wow, it is the 1920s.
No, I couldn't tell.
Exactly right.
I couldn't tell. She's wearing some overalls and a hat. It could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody, but it's our coworker, Nikki.
I'm sorry.
From Sweet 98.5.
I didn't realize. I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I just was curious.
6:30 last night. I saw somebody here. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm
get
the
outta
only
here.
one who needs to be here this
Get
late.
out of that building.
Please.
Go home.
I get worried when people are here later than me.
I would too. I saw something early today
See this year about this?
that you tweeted out, and I could not
Frieden?
have endorsed it anymore. No, no.
Oh, something else.
Something from Kevin Clark of The Ringer.
Oh, tremendous story. Really good story.
He wrote about the mega conference realignment in college football. I'm going to read from these two paragraphs because as I was reading, I'm like, man, I just could not find myself agreeing more. He wrote, in The Reckoning, David Halberstam's 86 epic about how Japan disrupted the American car industry, there is a scene in which a young General Motors executive is tasked with traveling abroad to study new European cars. There, he found a car enthusiast's dream, fun, brilliant, well-designed vehicles that he figured would excite car lovers back in Detroit. When he returned and gleefully shared the information, though, he quickly realized that the people running these companies did not love cars. They were not enthusiasts of anything except making bigger cars with bigger accessories and bigger profit margins. Quote, this is Halberstam's quote, "Those who had the most power had the least passion," Halberstam wrote of the realization. It's not hard, given the theme and title of the book, to guess what happened next. The best thing you can hope for when you're a captive audience of a sport is that the people making decisions like the sport too, that they understand why people watch it in the first place. This is not unique to one sport. It could be about any sport, baseball, golf, soccer, that's facing upheaval in a world of changing television habits, technology, and media economics. But right now, the sentiment best relates to college football, a sport that remains one of the best things in the world, despite 100 years of bureaucrats and administrators trying to make it worse. It is not dying. Any suggestion of that should not be taken seriously. And if somehow it was dying, Tennessee and Alabama fans would still meet in a grass parking lot every October to figure out how to play something. You cannot kill college football. I know, because the people who have run it, who have tried their best. But the sport is, as of this month, lunging dangerously close to becoming something it is not. And that's where the trouble starts.
That's how he began the story. That was the first two paragraphs of the entire story.
The part, though, about
the
people running the sport aren't passionate about it. They don't love the sport.
Yep.
It's about making bigger cars with bigger accessories with bigger profit margins. And that is what's driving all of this right now, is trying to make bigger cars, bigger accessories, or in this case, bigger brands with bigger names to make bigger profits. That's what it's all about. It's not about the love of the game. It's not about what's good for the game. It's not about enhancing the fan experience. It's about how do we find ways to milk more money out of people. That's what all of this is being driven by. Every single ounce of it. You don't even hear, and you know what? Maybe I should be celebrating this. But what's been one of the arguments that Phil Mickelson and Brooksy and DeChambeau have been saying about Live Golf? We want to do this to better the game. We want to do this to create some changes and better the game. Now, a lot of people are pushing back at that and saying, no, you're just doing it for a heck of a whole lot of money.
Yeah. At least college football's honest about it.
You don't hear anybody talking about these changes saying, yeah, we're doing this for the good of the sport.
Yeah, at least they're honest with us about it.
I guess we should celebrate that part, but shouldn't that be, yeah, I get it. It's business. It's money. But shouldn't it also be about preserving, protecting, and enhancing the enjoyment of the game? Because at the end of the day, it is still an entertainment enterprise. And without that ability to entertain, your enterprise is bankrupt.
Yeah, I want to read one more thing from Kevin Clark's story. He wrote, "Mark my words that the Pacific Northwest disengages en masse from college football because they were left out, or if season ticket sales at UCLA tank in 2033 because, well, people just wanted to see the schools they used to see. Officials will try to blame NIL and the transfer portal before they look inward. And that, along with everything else in the story, it really hit me, kind of right in the gut today, because especially, again, not to go back to that car analogy again, but it's like, man, he absolutely nails it.
Mm-hmm.
You read that and you're like, yeah, they are. Again, at least they're being upfront and honest with us about this. But we have not heard but one person say, yeah, this is for the betterment of the sport. Occasionally, I do like to think about, wow, USC and Michigan playing in the big house is going to be pretty badass. And UCLA coming to Lincoln is going to be really, really cool. Like, there are positives about this, of course. And usually that is basically just a few of the games that I'll want to watch moving forward. But the reasons why, like, I understand if you're not growing, you're dying. And I've essentially said that a lot over the years, adapt or die. That is I think the way that you need to live in cutthroat industries like this one. But there is also a part of in this case, the sport of college football, that, like, you're changing the fabric so much that I do think that people are going to get pushed away. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm sounding the alarm for nothing and be the boy that cried wolf. I hope so. I'd rather that than what I'm, kind of worried about this thing turning into. But they're just so worried about profit margins. It's like, man, you guys are already making so much money.
And that's the point, is you're already growing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a difference between growing and growing properly. I mean, sure. You could go out there and, inject yourself full of a bunch of human growth hormone and get really big.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the day, people start to question your ethics and your morals and whether or not your records are legitimate. I mean, ask Barry Bonds. Man should have been in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. He may not get into the Hall of Fame. Same with Roger Clemens. Those guys grew, but there's a right way to grow and there's a wrong way to grow. Barry Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer if he had done nothing. If he had stayed the same Barry Bonds, he'd have been a Hall of Famer. Same thing can apply here. College football was still going to grow because arguably it's the second most popular sport in America.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the NFL. That wasn't changing. That was not changing. But the idea that everyone thinks now they have to fast track everything and turn everything into, big brands. Gotta have big brands. And not realizing, because of all of the things that are attached to the success of football, like an entire athletic department, like a bunch of other sports, and then just like the fabric and the tradition and the interconnectivity among virtually all 50 states, college football succeeds in part because it succeeds in places that do not have the NFL. And it's got over 100 years of legacy behind it, and history and passion and all of those things. But this idea that, now it's all about the brands. We got to have the brands. College football, it is. It's no different than anything else. Major League Baseball would not be the same if we didn't have the Yankees and the Dodgers. The NFL wouldn't be the same if we didn't have the Cowboys and the Steelers. The NHL wouldn't be the same if we didn't have the Rangers and the Canadiens. NBA wouldn't be the same without the Lakers and the Celtics. But those aren't the only reasons the sport exists.
Yeah, because there are fans of other teams too.
Because there are others that are involved.
The thing that I just can't get past. And look, I'm going to, I guess, toot my and your own horn, because I think that you and I have some good ideas with what we want to see with college football. You can grow, and I think it just takes a couple little tweaks. College football playoff expansion. Like the thing that I guess I've maybe come to the realization of over the last few weeks is, like, no one is asking for this. Like with college football specifically, we have been asking as fans for specific things for a long time. We never get it. Or if we do, it takes forever. Like March Madness is a kick-ass idea. And I think that was an end point to get to as a sport, as college basketball grew and grew. That in hindsight is very obvious. But I think fans probably wanted it too. It's a lot of fun. Does it give us the best team winning the title every year? No. But is it a blast? Absolutely it is. Like, as NFL fans, do we need an expanded playoff? Do we need 14 teams? No. Do we need that with baseball? No. But that's not tearing, again, at the fabric of those sports. Like, I kind of wish, in a way, like we're always talking about separating. I kind of wish college football could separate, but that everybody could do it together and they could all be under one roof. And then we could organize things geographically that made sense, bring back some old rivals again, and have an expanded playoff, but do so under an umbrella where it makes sense, where Maryland and Duke are allowed to play in basketball again. Where Nebraska and Oklahoma are allowed to play, not in September, but in November after Thanksgiving again. Like I know I'm asking for the impossible and I'm sounding just, like an old guy, but it just, again, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for USC and UCLA. Like, it's just weird. Kyle tweets in. JTech Instructions on Twitter feed. He says, people are so concerned about the smaller schools in those conferences dying, but don't D2, D3, NAIA schools have football programs? No one is worried about them dying. I don't get why we care about Oregon State, Cal, TCU, etc. We've answered a version of this question probably like 5 or 6 times over the last 2 weeks. I like those schools, Kyle, being in college football. I like them being in the structure. Like, I don't watch D2 and D3 football. So am I being unfair? I guess so. But the difference about them is D2 and D3 teams have always known kind of where their place is. Cal football or TCU football, or Oregon State football, they have been a part of the club. They've been there. And now they're getting kicked out for reasons. I mean, really, it's just like, you don't get the viewership. You are not the teams. You didn't get to join the conference. Like, it's so weird, man, when you consider that. Like, I haven't heard Nebraska fans celebrating this move. It's more like a sigh of relief of, thank God we're in this group.
Right.
And it's like, it's just a weird thing to have.
But you know what? You're not that far away from maybe not being in that group. If a couple of things had broke differently, and if the powers that be are willing to do this to the sport today, what's the next 10 years going to bring? What's the next 20 years going to bring? Today you might be in the in club. Tomorrow you might be on the outside looking in. And I've always feared that with Nebraska. Always. It's the most overachieving program in the history of college sports when it comes to population base and amount of success had. I've got the numbers. I've got the spreadsheet. It's all there. I'm not just looking out for the little guy. I'm looking out for the guys 50 miles down the road, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. If these idiots, these people who are more in love with profit margins than they are with the sport, are willing to continue to tear things apart, who's to say the next time it tears apart, Nebraska gets left on the cutting room floor? And I know some people push back and, that'll never happen. Nebraska being the Big Ten, that was never going to happen either. Texas and Texas A&M never playing anymore until they start playing it. Nebraska and Oklahoma not playing anymore. Ridiculous thought. It happened. And things like this continue to happen. UCLA and USC in the Big Ten? I mean, just look at the map.
I know, it's hilarious.
Look at the map. You got all these teams, basically, if you divided the United States into quarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The entire Big Ten conference is in the upper right-hand quarter. And then way over here to the bottom left, those two teams are in too. I mean, just the thought of that. It's silly. And it's coming at the expense of, and it's not just Oregon State and Washington State. And haven't we learned not to look down our nose at so-called lesser teams around here in recent years? Apparently not. But you got teams like Oregon and Washington right now wondering, well, what about us? Arizona State. It's just not necessary. And please, whatever you do not fall for, they haven't done it yet, or at least if they have, it hasn't been really out there. But when it happens, and it will, please don't fall for the nonsense that, we have to do this because the players want to get paid. Do not fall for that. Do not fall for that. That's not why this is being done. That's going to be used as an excuse. Oh, it's those greedy players. And it's that NIL and pay for play and all that. That's why we had to do this. No. They had the ability to do this a long time ago. They just drug their feet and drug their feet and drug their feet, and now it's being used as an excuse. It will happen.
It's already happening.
But don't buy it.
Couldn't agree more.
Coming up, we can take your calls on this because we got a little bit of time before we get to Schaefer.
Yeah, got some responses.
402-951-1620. Got the phone lines open. You can also use that as a text line, 402-951-1620. JTech Construction's own Twitter feed at USC1620 or the Equitable Bank inbox. John at 1620thezone.com or Josh at 1620thezone.com. I have got a great deal for you today, going on today only when you call my friends at Brookside Medical at 402-671-7777. I've been telling you for a long time, these are the guys to go to if you have ED problems because their most advanced wave technology has been shown to help you fix your ED problems with no more medications. It restores and regrows blood vessels. It helps improve blood flow, and it can do so without surgery. But today, when you call now, not only do you get the consultation and the blood flow ultrasound for free, but they're going to tack on 5 additional treatments at no extra cost. Update treatments, 402-671-7777. That deal is today only. So call Brookside today. Get off the pill, get back to your normal functioning self, and do so with the advanced wave technology available only at Brookside Medical Clinic. 402-671-7777. Get those 5 additional treatments today only when you call Brookside at 402-671-7777.
Previously on the crossover.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Oh, and that's it.
Did he even get 10? His personal goal was 10.
Oh. Well, how many did he eat?
I'm going to bet he ate.
How many grams are remaining, John?
I'm going to bet he ate 8.
Sharp and Benning in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Heat starting to creep back in Wednesday. Expect mostly sunny skies throughout the day. Hot and muggy in the afternoon with a light southwest breeze. Highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanaha's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
42 Degrees is hiring salespeople. You can earn as much as $30 per hour. That's right, $30 per hour or more with paid vacation, medical and dental insurance, 401k, and generous employee discounts. Are you looking for a career with a locally owned company offering opportunities for advancement, great benefits, and great pay? Then stop at any 42 Degree location and inquire about this opportunity or go online to 42degrees.com/careers and apply. Buy your mom's house. 42 Degrees is an equal opportunity employer.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, offering office break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Listen for the screwball of the day this week on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Could be someone screwy or nutty, but worthy of the screwball of the day title. Brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, the original peanut butter whiskey, now available near you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is unsportsmanlike conduct.
I am distressed when people are shooting off guns and throwing fruit at our players. I just have a hard time with that.
On 1620 The Zone.
Some reaction as we were talking about mega conference realignment. JD, who's an Iowa fan, member of the In Club.
Member?
You both loathe this super conference stuff, all the while applauding NIL. It's funny, this change, in parentheses, super conferences are bad. NIL, this change is great. The quicker this game gets to NFL Light, the more fair this game will become. Again, NIL, I feel like we have to keep repeating ourselves. NIL right now is not costing these schools anything because it's all being done through the collectives or through these independent deals, whatever. But it's not pay for play. It's just the ability for the athlete to use their own name, image, likeness, hashtag NIL, to profit off of it. Now, some very, ingenious people behind the scenes, heretofore called boosters, found a way to basically launder their previously illegal dirty money. But again, it's not costing the school anything at all. Don't fall for this notion that all of this change that's being discussed and happening before our eyes is necessary because of NIL. That is a fallacy. We've seen this coming for a long time. There could have been many things done over the years to allow players to profit off their name, image, likeness, or discuss the idea of paying athletes, which, by the way, has not happened yet.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet. Don't buy that as a reason for all of this happening, because it's not. It's just going to be used as a very convenient excuse because, as we have seen, a lot of people have immediately gone to that card of, well, see, if we just made them student athletes like they were before, if they were just happy with their room, tuition, books, and board, everything would be just fine and nothing would change. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you in Lincoln.
Also, I mean, it's $1 billion sport, like billions of dollars.
Billion.
The reason we watch is not because of Scott Frost or Nick Saban. I watch for the players. I watch for the plays and the players that are making the plays.
Thank you.
I watch for that. Thomas writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. He says, I wonder if those left out will still be watching in 5, 10, and 15 years. He says, also a quick story. 10 to 15 years ago, the grocery stores in Omaha were dead during Husker games. I know you guys are usually watching the game, but that isn't the case anymore. Grocery stores are still busy during the game now. It sucks because it was a great time to go to the grocery store if you didn't like people. I believe Thomas is a Creighton fan. And I think that that's an astute observation. And that's why, I'm surprised. I mentioned a tweet from Kyle last segment. Kyle is, as I refer to him often, as a noted Wisconsin fan. And I'm just surprised that he is like, yes, sign me up for this. Because again, Wisconsin isn't Ohio State. They are not Michigan. I'm not saying like they haven't won as much as those teams. I'm saying that they are not a brand like that. And I hate that we continue to have to refer to these schools as that, but sadly that's what they are. And that's what we're discussing. There's no guarantee that Wisconsin is going to be a part of anything moving forward. And so yes, again, is it cool that USC and Ohio State are going to play more often? Obviously, that is really, really cool.
But you know what? It's also going to lose over time. It's going to lose some of its specialness.
Yeah, sure. Of course it is. But is it fun? Definitely. But I don't like that could be at the expense of the rest of the sport caving in. if interest is lost in the West Coast, like what does that mean for the sport overall? I think AC has a good observation too. He says, it is impossible to separate Nebraska's precipitous decline from my feelings about the sport at large, but there really is something to be said for the lack of joy that I associate with college football. There needs to be a better way. I'm not the first to say this, but some system of relegation and 2 32-team leagues and maybe a third 16-team league might make the sport mean something to the fans of the not Alabamas of the world, especially with NIL. You could literally put your money into the success of your team. And that's why, like, whenever I kind of sounded the alarm years ago about where I thought college football was going, and I feel fairly vindicated right now, people would always say, like, whoa, what about the little guys? And I'd always say, look, if you want to throw them a bone, if you want them to still want to be included or at least be interested, that would be the way. That would be the way. They're not going to do it, though, obviously. I don't think they are, at least. So if you remove that, again, what's the reason for those fans to care? Kyle, that's awesome. Like, will I still sit there and watch Bama versus Ohio State? I'm not going to go anywhere, but can't tell me that your interest in the sport at large is going to remain the same. I watch college football not for the reasons that the suits are doing all these moves right now. I watch it for the stupid stuff. I watch it for the random games. I watch it for the Tuesday and the Wednesday and the Thursday and the Friday and the Saturday. I watch it for all of that. Am I a rarity in the sport? Probably. I feel like I have to be. If they're making all these moves and they're not considering someone like me, then I think they want NFL fans, man. I think they want a sport that is smaller, that they can follow. It's easier to follow.
But guess what? You're not going to get them.
I know
you're not going to get them. You're not going to convince folks that a consolidated college football of all of these brands is going to become the next NFL.
It's not.
It's not.
I think
because
think
it's not the NFL. It's not. People are going to want to watch. There are a lot of people that love to watch the NFL that don't care about college football.
Millions of people, in fact.
They just don't. And nothing short of becoming the NFL is going to change that. Well, you're never going to be the NFL. You're always going to be the littler guy. I just never understood this logic of why people want to celebrate this. Well, I'm going to get more good matchups. You're going to get less good college football is what you're going to get over time. That's what you're going to get.
Because there are fewer games that matter.
Because there's going to be fewer games that matter. That is one of the quirky, cool things about this quirky, weird sport is that, especially early in the season, it feels like every game matters. It really does.
Yeah.
It feels like
every
game,
time slot, 11 a.m., 2:30.
that there's a game
games.
that matters, even if one of the two teams is a have-not or is not having a good season. But all it takes is that one upset, and all of a sudden, oh, crap. That team's season might be derailed. It's one of the cool things about this sport that's different from any other sport. You know, not many week 5 games in the NFL have playoff implications in that moment. But in college football, it does. Well, if you shrink the pool, eventually at some point, those brands become the jabronis. And then all of a sudden their brand is diminished. It's not as valuable anymore. So that Oregon, I keep using Oregon. Oregon's not in right now.
Nope.
That Ohio State-Nebraska game might feel like a big deal today, might not feel like a big deal down the road if especially if Nebraska keeps trending in the direction they are. And someone's got to be the jabroni. It can't all be great. Though I said it yesterday, if they ever got to this point where they consolidated to 32 or however many teams, I would openly root for every team going 6-6. I would laugh my ass off. Because there'd be a lot of people going, oh, but my champion's supposed to be undefeated. I would laugh my ass off. I would root for it to happen. Actually, Nate, we're gonna put you on hold because I just saw we were past time for a break. Hang on, Nate. Hang on,
Nate,
John.
stay right there.
Stay right there. We're gonna get to you next. But first, Josh is going to tell you about how great his eyes are.
My eyes are great, folks, because Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision was talking with somebody within the last few days. That person has a consultation scheduled for next week. She's very excited. She's had glasses in her life for quite a few years, and she is looking forward to the opportunity to ditch those glasses for good. Of course, they offer 7 different procedures. She does not know which one she qualifies for. That is why she is going through that consultation process. I imagine she has some questions. They, of course, will deliver her the answers. You hear about LASIK all the time. It's in all of the ads. LASIK, LASIK, LASIK. Well, there are other procedures. Kugler Vision offers a total of 7 of them. Perhaps this person will qualify for LASIK. If not, she could qualify for one of the other ones that they offer, just like I did when I went there over 4.5 years ago. My goodness, time continues to fly. Thank you, Tony Romo. 402-558-2211. Give them a call or schedule a consultation on their website, kuglervision.com. Be like this person. Be like me. Ditch those glasses, ditch those contacts for good. Head to their website today, kuglervision.com.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620, The Zone.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats. Dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people. Small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. Why would it be advisable for me to have you do my roof versus somebody else?
Well, integrity of myself and our employees, longevity, what we do here in the community, that has to go a long way, and I believe it does. We do what we say we're going to do, and if there is a problem, we're going to come back and fix it.
So make the right call, fans. When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Howdy, folks. Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission, and time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Hey, grab your gear and take 'em fishing. What do you say? Take a newcomer out fishing. Share a pic with us at Game and Parks Online, and then become eligible to win some very cool prizes. Everything from a state park cabin stay to a nice kayak. It's our Take 'em Fishing Challenge. See more about that on the Game and Parks website, outdoornebraska.org. That's outdoornebraska.org. And we have some angler reminders to pass along as well, that any of you going fishing 16 years of age or older must have a current Nebraska fishing permit signed and on your person. And you need to learn the limits for the fish you're after, where you're fishing, daily bag, possession, and length. It's all part of knowing before going. I wish you the best out there fishing. I'm Greg Wagner with Nebraska Game and Parks.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis and injury, you know the traditional treatments, pain meds, and steroids, then surgery, right? Yeah. Hey, it's Damon Benning with great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you long-lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your body's joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain and any joint and give you the quality of life you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation. 402-205-4960. That's 402-205-4960.
1620 The Zone's unsportsmanlike conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Adam writes in the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed, college football is my favorite sport. I'm scared to see where this is going. I love watching the MAC on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And the Sun Belt is about to become an incredible Group of 5 conference. What happens to these schools? It's scary. And it may be true. I mean, many of them may still field football programs, but if they are clearly identified as a lesser level of college football, less people will be interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a
here's
fact.
The thing. I'm not trying to shame anybody that watches college football, and they mainly do it for the big games, because
that's fine too.
That's totally fine, because you know what? There are NFL fans who only really watch the big time games. Then there are NFL fans who only watch their team in the big time games. And then there are those who have like Sunday ticket and watch as many games as possible. But the cool part about that is you can get different things out of that product. And I would say the same thing can be true of college football fans. I like sitting there and watching as many games as possible from 11 o'clock until basically 1 a.m. I know not everybody is like me, but what I like is that we have the choice. We have the ability. If I want to be like that and you want to wash your car and then watch the big game, you can do that. Like, that's the cool part. If you continue to stretch this thing and break it, we're going to lose some of those options. And so it's, again, I'm not trying to shame any, this is not fan shaming. It's just, I like the college football that I have had. I don't want it to change. I don't want it to be different. And, again, adapt or die. We do have to get used to new things, but this doesn't seem like a change that people really want. I guess maybe some do.
Some might. Let's find out. Here's Nate. Hi, Nate. Thanks for waiting. You're on the zone.
Fellas, how are you? Good to talk to you as always.
Hey, Nate.
Thank you.
So first, let me give the disclaimer before I unpack what I'm going to say. I'm actually in your camp. I would love to go back to like late 80s, early 90s Bowl Coalition. I thought it was more fun. There was more intrigue. And the who gets in debate in terms of last-minute bowl selection was infinitely more compelling than who gets in the playoff debate. It's not even close. I like that like a Clemson can come out of absolutely nowhere and upset a Nebraska, and because 4 other teams lost ahead of them, boom, Clemson's your national champion. Right? That's great. That's parity, right? It's almost like a pseudo Final Four thing, right? But that being said, I don't think the in-state is going to be as horrific as you think, because the pool is still going to be large enough. I think a lot of your arguments are correct if you got down to, okay, college football is 32 brands. But the reality is we're looking at probably 64 to maybe like mid-70s. So you're talking about not so much a change in the model, but you're really talking about contraction. You're talking about the Montreal Expos disappearing. Baseball survived just fine. If people don't get to see Nebraska play Georgia Southern, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And as a season ticket holder that pays $20,000 a year for only 2 seats, I don't want to play Georgia Southern. I don't care if they exist outside of what they do academically. And to be honest with you, if you ship the last 40 brands back to Division II, that then becomes the football junkie haven with improved play and ability, especially as you see a lot of these HBCUs are starting to really elevate their recruiting and talent pool. So I think actually you're wrong. I think that this can, if done correctly, absolutely can exist as an alternative league to the NFL and a minor league at the same time and still be successful and preserve tradition.
But Nate, you're saying if it's done correctly. When the hell has college football done anything correctly? I mean, it's usually if anything does end up quote unquote correct, they backdoor their way to it, or it happens by happy accident. It doesn't happen because anyone had any intelligence or foresight to do it the right way the first time.
I want to ask you a quick question that I asked Sharpie in betting the other day, because I'm kind of curious, like just the general sense of this. The program that intrigues me most in all of the expansion talk is the Cincinnati Bearcats. Because here's a school that's at least good at everything, and they're becoming very, very good at football, and they're usually pretty doggone good at basketball. Now, the Big Ten is the geographical fit, but certainly the SEC would probably like to get into the Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati market. Where do you think Cincinnati ends up? Or do you see a scenario in which we end up with 3 big conferences because the Big 12 and Pac-12 are going to merge, and now the ACC is the odd man out?
I think
SEC and Big Ten don't want anything to do with Cincinnati.
Yeah, Nate, I think in the scenario you laid out, thanks for the call, Nate. Yeah. In the scenario he laid out at the beginning, like let's pretend he's right, the 64 to 70 whatever team model, or even 90. Like Cincinnati definitely has a seat at that type of table.
Well, because it looks like the Big 12 is going to survive in some form or
and function. So I think they'd have a spot. I think they will definitely have a spot in like a 64 team something or other if we get to that point. But if it goes down any lower than that, then yeah, Cincinnati's pretty much screwed.
Yeah, and I guess we should try to flesh out just a little bit. It's not like right now Kevin Warren and Greg Sankey are meeting clandestinely behind the scenes and plotting out, all right, this is
you do this and we'll do this.
You do this and we'll do this, and we'll be the only 2 leagues. Right now, it's just a consolidation of enough power to create a big media contract. And it's also coming at a time where the NCAA is starting to yield some more powers to the conferences. The thing that worries me is it's not that there is this, grand plan to make it 32 teams. That's not what's happening here. But everything is trending in that direction because at some point, and this is going to happen, the conferences are going to have more of a say.
Yes.
As to how the sport is governed.
And that's why it becomes a 2-league sport, because they have the power.
Exactly.
It's not that they're like, let's make this a 2. No,
probably
they
the
just
easiest,
control everything.
Yeah, the easiest thing is scholarships, right?
Yeah.
At some point, the conferences are going to dictate how many scholarships they're going to allocate.
And so if some can't keep up with that, it's not that they are like legally separating and having a 2-team
but they're being
Super League.
priced out of the market.
Correct.
And I could see a scenario in the not too distant future where that power comes to the conferences and the SEC says, we're going to 95 scholarships for football. Would not surprise me. Big Ten would probably follow suit. But how many other of the so-called big boy league or the power or the FBS leagues that currently exist are going to be able to follow suit?
Yeah.
And if they can, does that come at the expense of other sports? That's where so eventually it just becomes you're pricing out your competition is what it is. It's not a plan to sit there and say, we're going to make this 32-team league and these are the teams that are going to be in. It's not that, but it's just a gradual pricing out of the so-called lesser teams.
It's a great way to describe it.
Before we get to Mike Schaefer, here's John. Hi, John. Thanks for waiting. You're in the zone.
No offense, guys, but I think the presidents of the universities and the higher ups at those places have thought about this a little bit more than you have, and they do have a plan. I mean, they must be doing something, right? They're running $1 billion business, so a couple things to your point, like like someone the caller called in and said he likes watching the MAC on Tuesday night. Well, that's because there's nothing else on. I watch it too because there's nothing else on. But if you've got a UCLA-Nebraska matchup on a Tuesday night, more people even watch that. And I think you mentioned something about, if this happens, will Nebraska and Ohio State be relevant in a game, or will games not become relevant? Nebraska, Ohio State hasn't been relevant in the whole time we've been in the Big Ten, and I still watch it. So the reason we watch college
because
football
you're a Husker fan, right?
You gamble, right? A lot of fans, they're fans for a reason. They gamble on games. Now you can gamble on quarters and halves. You can gamble on anything. And so people are always going to watch college football no matter what happens.
Oh, and we're not saying people are going to stop watching. It just makes it less interesting, and you start to alienate more people. I mean,
if 100%.
If you're an Iowa State fan, John, if you're an Iowa State fan, and eventually Iowa State's no longer part of the Big Boys Club, are you interested in watching those games? If you're an Iowa State fan,
how many Iowa State fans are out there, and how do they affect the viewership? There's a reason they're not in the Big Ten, because nobody wants them there because they don't bring money.
John, if it gets down to 40 teams, though, that means that there are 90 fan bases that are not a part of the conversation anymore. So, yeah, a few Iowa State fans, they might not affect the bottom line, but when you do that times 90, that's a lot of potential customers that are like, I don't want to watch anymore.
$1 million a year have thought about this and have a plan. No offense, guys.
Just because they're rich doesn't mean they
John, are you really standing up for some of these conference presidents, the same imbeciles who 2 years ago tried to kill the sport during COVID because they couldn't agree on things? These people are not as deep of thinkers as you think they are when it comes to this stuff.
And I'm a fan. But I haven't watched Oregon State play. I'm not going to stay up and watch Oregon State play football at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. And many
that's fine.
Don't.
That's you, but other people will.
Not many, obviously, because they're not in the talk of the alignment.
And what happens, John, when at some point that cut line raises above where Nebraska is? Then how do you feel?
They don't have. It's what you don't understand here is Nebraska hasn't been good in 10 years, and people still watch Nebraska football. It's because they have the name. That's what it comes down to. Oregon State could go undefeated next year and be in the top 10, and nobody's going to watch Oregon State play. But the random fan or fans will turn on and watch Nebraska play because it's Nebraska. That's the bottom line. That's what these presidents see is who has the good name. USC, UCLA have a good name. Okay. Stanford, no one cares about Stanford football. No one cares about Oregon State football.
Okay.
Washington State football.
Think about the presidents.
Yeah. Thanks, John, for standing up for the presidents, these very forward-thinking people. some of whom don't have a clue as to what they're talking about, but yet they have votes. That's why people like Greg Sankey have a lot more power, because they actually, are in the business of sports. Coming up next, Mike Schaefer.
He's there. I see him in the bullpen.
On 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we've got a crash on eastbound I-80 at 84th. It's causing traffic to be backed up to at least the 680 split. Also getting reports of delays on eastbound L Street from I-80 to about 90th. Delays for both directions on Highway 370 between 84th and 72nd. And then if you're headed north on the JFK, expect delays with the right lane closed at L Street with traffic backed up to Gilmore Ave. If you're south on the JFK, stop-and-go traffic between Q Street and Childs Road. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Thanks, Omaha. Thanks for voting Fernando's #1 for Omaha's Choice Awards for Best Mexican Restaurant and Best Margarita. Grab a friend or the whole family and get your fix. 2 locations and open 7 days a week. Fernando's, family-owned and community-served.
Email Unsportsmanlike Conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Mike Schaefer.
See, I would argue, because I like to argue,
we all underestimated how hard it is to, 1, win college football games, and 2, transition and take over a program.
Mike Schaefer.
I was trying to kindly tell Mr. Bishop the Vikings have a chance to surprise some people, and I think that they could even win the division.
Mike Schaefer.
It doesn't seem like the kind of book where they would be hooked on meth. That got dark.
Mike Schaefer.
Hey, Mike Schaefer. Husker 24/7. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know that I can get to the level of yelling that I walked into between you and your most recent caller. John, I think was his name.
Yes.
He seemed to have made you very mad, Bishop.
Well, I don't think in my history of doing sports talk, which goes back a long time, I've ever heard someone take up so strongly for college presidents and chancellors in terms of their acumen towards governing college sports. I don't think I've ever had that take before. That's a new one to me.
Yeah. I will say this. I do have some sympathy for college presidents and chancellors in the sense that essentially they have to kind of walk this tightrope where they have this, multi-million-dollar entity that's sports, but really, is it a naming rights thing? Like the University of Nebraska's football team, you know what I mean? Like they have other pressing issues going on trying to.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're
Shape honestly made an argument against that caller because the caller's point, Shape was like, we're wrong because the presidents, they're smarter than us. They're richer than us. They know what they're doing. Though I would use the argument you just made of like, they have so many other things on their plate.
And most of them come from a strictly academic background and have no background in athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was saying, I do have a little sympathy for it because there's, across the country. It's not like there's a whole rah pro education movement going on right now too. So it's not like there's just this tiny little battle over college athletics, and that's the only thing on their plate. So just throwing my 2 cents in there as I can.
Schaefer, you wrote something earlier this week.
No.
No. It wasn't bad at all. In fact, it got my mind going because
was it a tweet or an article?
I was right there with you. No, it was an article.
Okay.
Oh, wow. More than 140 characters.
Let's go.
Yeah. But it was about Kane Williams. This is a transfer from Alabama kind of being forgotten in all the conversations that we've had. And I thought that was very adept because it's like, well, Nebraska, defensive line definitely needed refurbishing. We knew that because of all the losses, but so too did the secondary, because they lost a lot of talent and experience in the back end as well. Is Kane Williams obviously is high on your list, but there's probably some others that have been kind of laying in the weeds or have been forgotten about, of not even necessarily transfers, but maybe red shirts or guys who were injured and coming off injury that we just kind of forgotten about.
Yeah, I was kind of doing this exercise in my head where I was going back through some of the new additions and then just trying to be like, when's the last time I said anything about so-and-so? And, when's the last time you gave a thought about Javier Morton? That's a junior college defensive back that was in Nebraska's class this past year. He was there this spring. And yet, I mean, if Javier Morton went out and was starting in Ireland, I'd be pretty shocked. Yeah. And at the same time, it's not like completely out of the realm of possibility.
Sure.
But so I guess the larger point that I'm trying to make is that I have never in this job or covering this team encountered an offseason that has resulted in so much change and then seemingly so much unpredictability. Like, good luck to the people with the Lindy's and Athlon and, Phil Steele magazines, because projecting a depth chart for Nebraska's defense in certain situations is pretty much a fool's errand, because what do we really know? I mean, Miles Farmer has the most playing experience. Well, just take safety. Take safety, for example. Who their starting safety is on Saturday when they play Northwestern could be wildly different by the time they get back home and play Oklahoma 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, whatever it is. Could be dramatically different by the time they're hosting Minnesota in November, because I don't know that they know who their best safety is yet. I don't know that they know who their top safeties are. I mean, we know that Travis Fisher likes Marcus Buford a lot. We know that Miles Farmer has the most experience, but he was last seen really struggling against Wisconsin and Iowa to end the year. And so, he's got to make big strides to try to fill kind of a position that I think we really took for granted, because you had that 3-year run of Markel Dismuke and 2 years of Deontay Williams, and say what you will about those guys, but they were steady Big Ten level players. You didn't have to really worry about them. And now, who the hell knows? I mean, it could be Miles Farmer and Deshaun Singleton back there for the first snap. It could be Kane Williams and Noah Pola Gates. I mean, it could be any number of players. So I was just sort of thinking about this, like, yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about Casey Thompson and Trey Palmer and some of the bigger names. And then, of course, there's we chuckle and laugh about Timmy Bleakroad and Brian Buschini, and surely these guys have to be better. And then there's kind of they didn't really land a big offensive lineman, but Hunter Anthony and Kevin Williams are depth for them. Devin Drew and O'Shawn Mathis and Stephen Wynn on the defensive line. But there's just so many new people. Like, it's just you could really, I mean, if I was an enterprising individual whose job it was to feed the content machine, I could pick a different player every, day this month and write about him and basically be like, we don't know who the hell this guy is or what he's going to do.
And you know what? You could do it in some kind of a numerical order that counts down to the last day of the off season.
You can't really do that unless you're counting down from some sort of, with some ambiguity of indispensable, could be a word that you could use.
Perhaps.
Valuable. Some people even try to say best.
Yeah,
I think that's a little ridiculous. I don't even know if they have a best player.
I want to read this series. Who the hell is this guy, and what do we know about him?
I like this idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
Brian Christopherson, make him do it.
Maybe this is going to be my new transfer portal era thing. Like, this is what I'm going to do every July. I'm just going to round up all the new people, and I'm going to ask people. No, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it a video series. I'm going to march down to O Street, and I'm going to ask people on the street.
Oh, who is this guy?
Who is Javier Morton, and what position does he play?
Now, this might be
great bit.
This might be too old a reference, but this is a classic Saturday Night Live bit back when
When
Ross,
it was funny?
When it was funny, when Ross Perot was running, and he had Admiral Stockdale, the vice presidential candidate.
I know Ross Perot is.
And he said, "Who am I, and why am I here?"
I've
could
heard
be
about this.
Yeah, that could be the name of the segment. Who am I, and why am I here?
That'd be great.
Shane, you just got a question going in my my brain, because when we talk about the quarterback, we're maybe that position group, we might be a little like over worried about it or asking too many questions. When you look at the defense, the whole defense, are we over concerned, under concerned, or do you think the right amount of concern about like the losses they had and the new pieces they gained, and I guess what they're going to have to do on the field if Nebraska is going to be good this year?
I just feel like no one's talked about the defense really, because there's just, you have Mark Whipple, you have Scott Frost giving up potentially play calling duties. You have this seismic change. You have different quarterbacks and Mickey Joseph. And so you have all these different things on offense that has just taken up all of the airspace or even the mental space when you think about Nebraska football right now. And then when you look at defense, it's not like they lack questions. I mean, we still don't really know what the unit looks like up front. Oh, by the way, they're switching from the defensive front that they ran for 4 years to a different defensive front. And we don't really know what that means for guys like Caleb Tanner or Garrett Nelson, Ty Robinson, all of whom look like they're going to be playing a slightly different version of a position that they played last year. And will they be effective at that? It's easy to just assume that they will, or to assume that they won't, but we don't really know how they're going to play. And there's only one position really on the roster where you're like, okay, that seems pretty set right now. That seems pretty set for the future. Its position coach seems to have gotten quite a bit out of his guys, and they seem to be going in the right direction, and that's inside linebacker. Everything else is just a flaring question mark of varying levels. You have a different but the same defensive line coach in Mike Dawson. So there's a lot sort of all happening with the defense, but I just don't think that we spend a lot of time investigating it. And part of this goes back to what I was saying with Deontay Williams and Markel Dismuke. My biggest fear going into the year from the defensive side is that you're just replacing a lot of steady guys.
Yeah.
You're replacing Ben Stilley. You're replacing Markel Dismuke. You're replacing Cam Taylor-Britt. You're replacing JoJo Doman. And some of those guys were steady, Markel Dismuke, Deontay Williams, Ben Stilley. Some of those guys made big plays for you when you needed it in Cam Taylor-Britt and JoJo Doman. Who is the next version of that for Nebraska? Who is their quote-unquote eraser, or someone that can create havoc, or someone that can force the quarterback into a bad throw, or cause a wide receiver to drop the ball over the middle, or things of that nature? And there's names. Like, I'm really excited about Tommy Hill. I think Tommy Hill's going to be a fun player to follow in his career. Omar Brown, if he's healthy, is going to give Tommy Hill a fight for that job opposite of Quentin Newsome, or hell, he might give Quentin Newsome a fight for his job too. And then, of course, O'Shawn Mathis and Garrett Nelson and all of that. But there's a double edge. You lose some steadiness and you lose some playmakers. How does that all get replaced? Because I think what Nebraska has in the cupboard are guys that you feel pretty good that you can count on to get to a certain level. But I don't know that they have a lot of guys that I feel that are just going to be breakthrough players, if that makes sense. Like I think they have a lot of solid. I don't know that they have any great yet with that.
Basically, you don't know if they have any like all conference.
Sure. Well, beyond all conference, like, I don't know that there's a single guy on this defense. And part of it is because I don't know what exactly it's going to look like and how they're going to play in the 4-3, where if you're an offensive coordinator, you're kind of worried about that guy. Like
Yeah.
JoJo Doman, you had to be a little concerned about because of all the different things that he could do. Because he could be equally as scary against Ohio State as he was against Michigan State last year.
Yep.
He had great games against two wildly different teams.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that guy. I think Luke Reimer is really good. I think Nick Henrich is good. I think Ty Robinson is good. Do they have anyone that can be great? I don't know that they do. I don't know if they have anybody on this team that exceeds good. I think that's one of the things that you kind of look at with this team. But if you have enough good, you can get by that way. And maybe that's the route that Nebraska takes in 2022.
Nebraska got another commit, an edge player from Louisiana, Ashley Williams, earlier this week. That gives them 14 commits so far. Where have you come out on what you eventually see the final number being?
Well, so final number being high school guys or transfer portal additions or everything?
I would go high school guys because we're at 14 now.
Yeah. Well, I think they still
They're
want
be close to the cap.
So let's say they're still going to take 5 more guys on defense, I would assume, from a high school perspective. So 2 more defensive backs, 1 more defensive lineman, 1 more edge player. I don't know. I said 5. We'll stick with 5. I don't know who the 5th is there, but whatever. So that takes you up to 19. You're also probably looking at a running back and maybe 2 more wide receivers, maybe another offensive lineman. Now all of a sudden we're at 22, 23.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like a full high school class. And you know what? Like, that's what Nebraska needs to do.
Yes.
They don't need to take 17 transfer portal players every year. Like, that's not a sustainable model. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the low 20s with high school kids that for commitments and whatnot by the time they're deep into the season next year. I mean, they've already exceeded. 13 was a number that I thought, going into the first game, because I kind of thought they'd be hanging out more around 18 or 19, but it does seem like they're going to take more high school guys in this class than I initially thought they would.
Schaefer, we know you got to get going early, so I'm going to do a strong left turn here. Yesterday, John and I went through all 32 teams, and we said which of them can win the Super Bowl in 2022. I gave 11. John gave 10. He made fun of me because I had the Cowboys on my list, but they could do it if everything went perfectly. How many teams do you think?
If the other 31 teams folded, yes.
How many? Oh, come on. They don't need all of them to fold, just some of them.
Don't you guys think your numbers are a little low?
Thank you. Somebody was being way critical of us. Like, you guys have way too many teams. Like, no way. There's a lot of teams that could win.
Really? Okay. Well,
like the guy in the left box up here, the top left box might not agree with this assessment.
Right.
But the Bengals were pretty damn close to winning a Super Bowl that nobody thought that they were going to be playing in.
I had the Bengals. Year. I had to talk him into putting the Bengals on his list.
No, I think he's making an argument for like goofy
of last
teams,
year,
like the Cardinals being included on the. See?
Yeah, but the Cardinals, they'd have to get a good coach first.
And again, Zach Taylor was a bad coach before they went on a run last year.
I don't know. I guess off the top of my head, I would almost just split the league in half. I would go closer to like 14. 60. But I also tend to think that when you get into the playoffs, it's
crap.
There's not a big difference between the best team and the 4th best team in a conference. Like, I mean, the Bengals went into Arrowhead and won, and I don't think they were the best team in the AFC. But on any given Sunday, and they almost, they almost won the Super Bowl. So I feel like 10 and 11 might be cutting a couple teams off.
We didn't have like the Raiders on our list. Should the Raiders be on the list?
Yeah, I think the Raiders should be on the list.
Broncos?
Devontae Adams. Are you just doing this because you're scared that the AFC is going to be a giant AFC West? Car crash.
I'm just looking at the teams we didn't have. So the notable ones that we didn't have were the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Patriots. I would say those were probably the most notable teams that we left off our list.
I'm assuming neither of you listed the Vikings.
We did not.
Did not.
Yeah.
I thought about it though. I kind of started making an argument, and John was like, "Shut up," and I was like, "Okay."
No, I didn't.
He didn't say shut
up. I
up.
don't even think we mentioned the Vikings.
I think I said their name, and we moved right on.
That's fair.
Yeah, again, it's a realistic.
I will say, I think they could win the division this year.
You say that every year.
No, there's like 2 years ago where I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I had them at like 4-12. So
that's right. Off. You were very negative a couple years
ago. I was mostly right.
No, they're always like 500 with Kirk Cousins. That's what they are.
New coach, Josh.
They're like the Jeff Fisher of football now.
Hey, Bill Simmons keeps saying that Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are the same quarterback. Is this true? Do I need to start being worried that my guy is your guy?
I don't think they're that different.
Oh,
I don't know what measure that he would be using for it, but I also obviously think
good
more of Kirk
stats,
Cousins
but they're
than others.
always good stats, but they never do anything in the playoffs.
Well, Dak's played in the playoffs, what, twice?
3 times.
I mean, isn't Bill Simmons the same person that claimed that Dirk Nowitzki choked in the playoffs all the time until he won the greatest NBA title ever?
Cowboys.
Thank you for finally seeing it my way.
So I don't know. I feel like that's sort of a stupid argument, but it's the kind of thing you make when you rooted for the Patriots and you always saw your team win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. Easy to look down your
football.
nose when you were.
I mean, I'll say this. I think Dak Prescott's a top, 7 quarterback in the league? I think he's probably in the top 7 at this point.
He's definitely in the top 10.
There's a guy on Twitter who keeps getting mad at me because I just don't think Matt Stafford's that good, even after he won a Super Bowl. Sorry, John.
Is his name John Bishop?
Don't even go there. I don't even want to hear about this nonsense.
Who is this guy?
Super Bowl champion Matthew.
He knows
Stafford.
who he is. He'll tweet at me, I'm sure, after this segment.
I'm gonna search Matt Stafford, and then I'm gonna search at Schaefer. I'm gonna figure out who this person is. I'm gonna respond to him, be like, I couldn't agree more, bro.
The ring.
I don't think Matt Stafford's a top 7 quarterback.
Oh,
I'm not going to fall for your trolling activities.
It's not trolling. My name isn't Worse
The
Rex.
ring is the thing. He is a champion. Led them to a final
Again.
drive. No look pass, mind you.
A ring is very nice. Lots of quarterbacks who aren't top 7 quarterbacks have had rings in their career.
Does
It
this
happens.
person have the same first name as me, Shave?
What?
That guy? Does this person who keeps saying this, does he have the same first name as I do?
I think so.
Oh, yep. I know that guy.
He used to have, I think, Kurt Russell from a movie as his avatar on Twitter.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want. I'm not falling for this.
Oh, he's a Rams fan. That's what's going on here. Wow. Sad. All right. Well,
Mike Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen.
good conversation. I love football.
Yeah, football's good.
Football's
Football
awesome.
is
Man,
good.
what a sport.
I'll let you guys go and you can go back to yelling at your callers.
It was just one.
Getting warmed up for bigger overreaction.
You gotta understand, when I walked in, I was like, oh, whoa.
I saw you pop up in the stream, and John's like, "Sir, you sound like Keith Olbermann."
No, please.
Yeah,
That's an insult. You might as well call me Bill Simmons before calling me that goof.
I mean, I was pretty surprised. I didn't know what had been said, but you were in it.
We're fired up, man.
He walked in like Donald Glover in that scene from Community.
Oh yeah, holding the pizza. Everything's on fire.
I don't know what you're talking
It's a
about.
great
The best
show.
episode of that show.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm sure it was great.
It was.
It was.
Mike Schaefer of Husker 24/7, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye,
He's off to
Shave.
He's off to do more important things.
Oh yeah,
Keeping the missus happy.
not talk to us is what he's off to do.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good place to be.
Not to talk to us.
Probably a good place to be. More reaction.
Sir. Aaron did respond, by the way. That's not the caller's name, but he texted in 402-951-1620. You guys need to stop letting these morons on the radio. Nice, Nick.
Ooh, that sounded a little overmodulated.
Maybe turn it down a little bit, Nick.
Let's hear it again.
Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds kind of
A little
overmodulated.
too loud there,
a little
fam.
crusty.
Yeah. That still
Yeah,
sounds crusty.
I think it was recorded.
No.
No. It's in the recording.
Yeah,
it's in the
you gotta
original
fix-
recording.
You got
It's
to
a
fix
little-
the MP3.
It's a little fuzzy.
It's okay. We believe in you, Nick.
It's a little fuzzy. That's all.
Nothing I do is ever good enough for you guys.
No. It's not that. It just sounded a little fuzzy.
You always want to get better, Nick. Don't you want to get better?
I do want to get better, but I also work with what I have.
Mina said, I joined the call with John late. I was thinking the other day that major college football is edging on losing a big part of the sport's fans if they relegate a number of Power 5 teams to some sort of lower, less competitive tier. I actually enjoy watching Sunbelt and MAC games midweek. I could see where some schools drop football altogether, and a large portion of fans they risk losing will eventually impact TV revenue. This is such a cluster. I hate it.
Yeah, and look, maybe you and I and Mina and others who agree with us, maybe we are the wrong ones. Because got a couple emails from Riley saying agreed 100% with that call. Said, I think the presidents understand the ramifications of this that extend much further than a football field. But I also think that in terms of trimming the fat of the have-nots, these media companies have access to more data to weigh those decisions than regular football fan does. Look, that is true. They do obviously have much more data than you or I do. We're kind of parsing numbers and we're using our own experiences and conversations. But again, I guess I will say what I said to the caller, because he is right. If Iowa State football fans, the majority of them say, I'm done with college football, in the grand scheme, not a big deal. That is not one of the largest fan bases in the country. They can deal with that. But if all of the other fan bases do too, then that's when it gets in trouble. How you and I are wrong, I guess, in this is if our doomsday, it's getting down to 40 team scenario isn't going to happen, and it's actually like 64 to 90 teams, because then you're only, quote unquote, only losing group of 5 fan bases. Okay, fine. I'll acquiesce to you a little bit.
But if you think it's going to stop there, you're also crazy. If you think it's going to stop there.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be more change eventually down the line. And this is something we have never had to really go through before. Since the Supreme Court ruling in 1984, right?
Stick to sports.
Where the conferences started to get, the teams started to get control of their own television, and it turned into the conferences getting more control of their television because the schools decided, hey, we're going to partner up with our travel partners, and this is how we're going to make our TV packages. The problem is there what some of these numbers, these metrics that maybe the networks and these highly astute conference presidents who have their finger on the pulse of the entertainment industry,
presidents
that are looking at. Yes, in theory, you're right. A playoff game between an Alabama and an Ohio State, which, in 2014 drew, was it 20?
It was close to 30 million viewers.
20. Okay, we'll go 30 million viewers.
Yeah.
Might still draw that same number in a consolidated era. Absolutely. No question about that. But the problem is you run the risk of alienating, like you said, the Iowa State fan, if they're not one of the haves anymore. What is going to prompt that person to continue to watch? Oh, but you'll argue, look at the brands. It's about the brands. Well, if once upon a time, the reason you watched those brands was because your favorite brand also happened to be a part of that same club, why are you still interested in watching those other brands when your team was ostracized and kicked out, either eliminated altogether or relegated to a lesser brand? Why are you going to watch that? Oh, but it's the best brands. You know what? So too are the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. And those are better brands because it's the best form of football out there.
But you know what? In the 80s, when they sucked, you didn't want to watch those two teams play.
Exactly.
Even though they're the biggest brands, it was bad football.
It was bad football. And you might say, well, it's still Saturday and people are still going to watch. And
look,
yeah, sure. And you're right. They probably still will watch.
Smaller audiences.
But it could end up being smaller audiences, and you might be cutting off your nose despite your face.
Yeah, Michael says, could you please touch on how this may affect Vegas in the States with sports gambling? Look, that will definitely keep people around because, yeah, people love gambling, and people love gambling on football, especially on football. But
not everybody who watches football gambles on it.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm a big gambling proponent. I am
Promo
a
code
proponent.
1620.
Yes, FanDuel Sportsbook. But not the reason for the 100 million viewers for the Super Bowl isn't because 90 million of them are gambling on the game.
Is it because of the brands?
No, it's because it's a big event.
You know what I mean? The Cincinnati Bengals aren't a big brand?
Well,
brands.
They
the
are.
brand.
I mean, they are.
Brand.
Kind of a brand. I mean, they're not as
brand.
Big.
Yeah, we need a brand drop for every time this comes up. We're going to start calling them the brands.
And whether you want to believe it or not, the game loses some of its charm when you drop a lot of those teams away. You might not think that in the moment, but it does lose some of its charm because it's the inclusiveness of an entire nation. That's one of the things that makes college sports very unique and different from the professional version.
Mhm.
We don't have an NBA team around here. We got college basketball, and people enjoy it.
Some people.
But if you start to lose some of that connectivity to the rest of the nation, why are you going to still watch? We found out during the pandemic, when things were taken away from us, people found other things to do.
Dude, I'm happy you said it because I was just thinking the same thing. There are more entertainment options today than there were 5 years ago, let alone 25 years
and they're on demand and they can happen when you want it to.
Yeah.
We found out people could adapt pretty quickly. There are a lot of people out there that could find new things to do on Saturday if their programs are no longer involved in the sport of big boy football. And those people will find those other things to do, and they won't have a reason or need a reason to come back to your big boy football, your brand, your big brands football. That's what we should call it. The big brands football.
Hold the door. A compliment to Nick, R.I.P.
That's sad.
I hope it wasn't for the overmodulated drop.
It was.
What?
This is from Ethan Nick in the 608. What's the 608 area code?
I don't know.
You look that up. The text notification sounded perfect. Every time I hear that notification, it's always at full blast, and the old guy can't figure out how to turn it off.
Oh, he's from Madison.
Madison, Wisconsin. There you go. So he's saying it's always a full blast for the olds. They can't turn down their.
I'm glad you liked it. Shout out to
John's
Cheese.
text messages are loud too.
Not to get all nerdy, here, but there's a difference between volume
and overmodulation.
Exactly.
I've turned it down. I have to re-upload it.
This is overmodulation.
Whereas this is loud. See, one of them sounded better.
Because every version of that I found sounded
Did it sound
just like that. Yeah.
Well,
Wait, what is that?
I also had to make it stereo. It's the Samsung.
I know, but doesn't it sound like
I was wondering.
one of ESPN's?
You're thinking of do 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 do. You thinking of the draft?
Yeah.
It does kind of sound like that, doesn't it?
It
Nick,
does.
go to the search function and search draft because we can just play that little stinger real fast because it sounds, wow, those are very similar noises.
I think it's kind of like the way that normal people spell the word friend and the way you spell the word friend is they just reversed a couple of the
Go
notes.
down a little bit. It says NFL draft sounder.
ESPN right there. That one. Hit it.
Like that.
See, that's different.
Yeah, a couple of little similarities, so I can see it.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
402-951-1620. Jake, stay right there. We'll get some more of your thoughts. Plus, we got at 4:30, Illinois. Big Red Summer School.
Summer school, not Sunday school. Summer school.
Make some Illinois.
1620 the zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. I come to you on this day, July the 13th, to give you some tremendous, phenomenal news. Coming up next month, Friday, August the 19th, will be our, are you ready for this, John? 5th annual Golf Flash 4-person scramble.
And you don't need to be a big brand to play in it.
That's true. Tiger Woods, if you want to show up, awesome. You are a big brand, but we're good with any of the friends of the program. It will be a 4-person scramble, 5th year in a row. We started this back in 2018, our 5th time. More details to come. Signups will be available soon at their website, miraclehillgolf.com/store. So stay tuned for that. We will send out the link, but you need to get yourself and 3 other people ready to go. Save that date, friends. John is out of the studio, so I can say it now. Save that date. Friday, August the 19th, the week before game week. You know that we're going to be having a great time. There will be fabulous things going on there. You will not want to miss it. And, of course, give them a call at 402-498-0220 and book your tee times for this weekend. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
The clear skies and mild conditions will continue throughout the evening hours as temperatures only cool into the upper 60s and lower 70s around daybreak Thursday. Your Thursday afternoon will include mostly sunny skies, a bit breezy at times. Southerly winds could gust as high as 20 to 25 miles an hour. Afternoon high of 94 degrees. Meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KTV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up a crash with injuries on 90th at Blondo affecting northbound and southbound commuters. Avoid the area if you can. Stall on westbound Dodge at 120th is also causing significant delays through there. If you're east on I-80, expect delays between 84th and 72nd. Road work on the northbound JFK still has the right lane closed just past L Street. It's causing slow traffic back from Gilmore Ave. And then if you're south on the JFK, delays between Q Street and Childs Road. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Thanks, Omaha. Thanks for voting Fernando's #1 for Omaha's Choice Awards for Best Mexican Restaurant and Best Margarita. Grab a friend or the whole family and get your fix. 2 locations and open 7 days a week. Fernando's, family-owned and community served.
Mom, Zoe said she wants to go to Funflex.
Your infant sister told you this?
Uh-huh. She wants to splash in the water.
Yeah.
And ride the go-kart, play on Makana Splash, and go down the Rocket Rapids.
What?
And went to Cabana. We can spend the day.
She said all this, huh?
Uh-huh. Zoe also said we should invite my friend Caleb. It would be really fun for me. Zoe.
Right.
It's all for fun and fun for all at Funplex. 70th and Q-Tude. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Now that my Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi reaches all over my home, I can finally stream my history shows in my room. And play my games in the den. And of course, blast my jams all over. Mom! Sorry! Those flutists can get pretty rowdy.
Stream throughout your home with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed in certain cases. Panoramic Wi-Fi pods sold separately may be required for extended coverage. Restrictions apply.
Here's a question for you. Why is it that some people aren't as stressed out about the future as you'd think they'd be? Answer? They're probably among the millions of Americans who have prepared themselves with emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. If the worst ever happens, literally millions of American families are already protected from dealing with empty store shelves. Is yours? If not, go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and grab some emergency food kits, at least one for each member of your family. These kits give you a wide variety of delicious meals that average over 2,000 calories per day. Everything stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. Order your kits now by going to MyPatriotSupply.com. Your order will ship fast and arrive discreetly in unmarked boxes. Listen, this is something you need to jump on now, before the next news headline stuns the world. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Is your car making a howling, growling, or crunching noise? It could be related to the drivetrain, which consists of your transmission, your transfer case, and differentials. Omaha Transmission is specialized in diagnosing and repairing all those components. Don't diagnose it yourself. Take out the guesswork and have us tell you for sure.
Omaha Transmission, shift into running smooth.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen for the screwball of the day this week on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Could be someone screwy or nutty, but worthy of the screwball of the day title. Brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, the original peanut butter whiskey, now available near you.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
What the hell is going on?
On 1620 The Zone.
Brian Barhart, the voice of Illinois, join us in a few. Also, the screwball of the day, Dumb Debates, is also coming up. And Jake. Oh. No, he's on the phone. He's not on the overmodulated. He's not on the overmodulated text line. Hello, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Come in.
Hey, so listening to the arguments for the last couple of segments,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, I guess the have-not teams and viewership and things like that. I'm like, with conference realignment, how is that any different than what's going on right now? Because I'm like, you know, Josh, I think you were talking about, like, you know, like 90, if you lost viewership from the 90 lowest teams in the country, you know, that would be a net loss. But at the same time, those 90 teams know that they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning, you know, anything during the season. So
you're basically asking, how is it any
how
different?
Does that change?
Hey, look, Jake, it's a good question, and I guess here is how I think I would answer it. And part of this is going off of some of the discussions that you and I have had specifically, as things have changed over the last couple of years, and maybe NIL is kind of what I'm talking about specifically. What have I kind of gotten frustrated by with some people? Like the naivete that this wasn't already happening. And I'm like, look, don't be mad that you didn't realize this, and now it's actually unfolding, and you're like, whoa, I didn't realize this could happen. I think that we could see something similar with those other 90 fan bases. Right now, they can kind of talk themselves into having a chance, or at least, at the very least, they are in the same sport and they are under the same roof. And Vanderbilt does play Alabama, you know, and Kentucky, you know, does play Florida. And so they are still there. If you remove those possibilities, and I mean, especially if you're an Iowa State fan and you're no longer playing Oklahoma and Texas, which will actually be the case because they're leaving their conference. And it's also like, and you truly can't play in the playoff. We're not giving you any shot, no matter how good you are. I think that changes. I think that would change some people and their enjoyment of the sport.
Absolutely.
Will there be fans who will still watch? 100%. I'm not going to sit here and say that every single fan would check out, because there are fans of those schools that I know watch college football today. But in my opinion, those kind of sidewalk or casual college football fans, I think a lot of them would be happy to disappear if they were like, oh, okay, so I just don't have a seat anymore. I don't have a chance anymore. Why would I want to watch this?
Well, and here's the other part of it too, is we thought we were getting closer to a more inclusive playoff, to where those teams that currently do feel like they're on the outside would have actually had a clearer path to playing in the playoff. And I know there's some people that are like, we didn't want them anyway. And I think that's where a lot of folks who are arguing for this consolidation, they were also for locking out group of 5 teams from being in the playoff. You and I were about, hey, we want them in. We want to give them a shot. We want to see them play. Expand the playoff, fine. We're still going to get our really good teams at the top, but there's going to be some others, hey, you know, to give us maybe a little bit of a tiny bit of the flavor that makes the NCAA March Madness so enticing, is giving those guys a shot. And we were so close to it last summer. And then whoop, rug got pulled out. And now this year, it's like that magic trick where you try to pull the tablecloth and keep all the dishes on there. Instead, all the dishes just went everywhere. And now it's just a giant mess that everyone's trying to clean up.
It sucks. It really does. It bums me out, man.
It does. It sucks. But what doesn't suck is summer school.
Well,
our summer school.
Thank you.
Big Red Summer School.
Bingo.
We'll learn more about Illinois. You remember them from such hits as
Don't.
They beat Nebraska in the first game last year. They also won the year before that.
Also, will Nick have a chorus version of their fight song?
Oh, that's right.
Singing and songing.
Singing and songing.
Sorry for trying to put the spotlight on other artists.
I just asked, Nick. I'm not being critical. I was asking.
You know, you save your experimental music crap for FM radio.
Yeah.
Until we take it over.
Yeah.
The J-Tech Construction wants to give you a solar summer. You could win a solar system for your home worth up to $10,000. It's the J-Tech Construction Solar Summer Sweepstakes. You can get all the details and enter to win right now at 1620thezone.com. A $10,000 prize package?
Holy moly!
That's a lot of cash. 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 13th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your erectile dysfunction without any pills or side effects. If you're ready to regain your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, and it's only good today, Wednesday, July 13th. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and see what can happen in your relationship. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 402-671-7777.
Heading to a cookout with family or friends? Heading home from a ball game? Or heading no place in particular on a random weekday? All seems like great reasons to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Hey, it's Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. Ice cream on a hot summer day or night is awesome. And ice cream from Ted and Wally's is even awesomer. Yes, it's a word. You know me, I make them up, but not this time. Cones, cups, pints, quarts, even half gallons to go. Head to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Celebrating more than 35 years, 2 locations, Benson and the Old Market. Visit tedandwallys.com.
If you're tired of trading one dead-end job for another, trade your job for a career. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers has positions open right now. As an IBEW residential electrician, you'll get training, higher pay, paid health care, retirement, and up to a $1,000 sign-on bonus. Build a better life for you and your family. Make it happen. Call 402-810-0789 right now. That's 402-810-0789. Or get details at IBEW22.org.
Given the rising costs of utilities, many Nebraskans have switched to solar energy and haven't looked back. JTech Solar, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, is giving you a chance to win a $10,000 solar panel system with the JTech Solar Summer Solar Giveaway. That's right, a $10,000 solar system for free. If you're a Nebraska homeowner and you're ready to transform your home and pocketbook, head over to 1620thezone.com for your chance to win a free solar system from JTech Solar. Restrictions apply. See website for official rules and eligibility.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The best part of your summer night is listening to Royals baseball on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Oh, you couldn't find a
Where's the chorus?
I found one, but
barbershop?
it wasn't studio quality.
Oh, so
you
it's not
mean-
like the text message
Oh
sound.
yeah, it's not like the overmodulated text message sounder.
I also had like a minute and a half, so sorry.
Could have done it earlier today.
Yep. Could have
Could've
done
been.
your research. Well, I guess Brian Barnhart will just have to deal with the regular fight song, not the sung version of the Illini fighting chorus fight song like
Sorry,
we got
Brian.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Threw me off.
Hey, no
completely.
problem.
Yeah. Brian, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here in Summer School, Illinois, who last year finished 5-7. But, you know, when you look at the record and look at some of the wins, obviously there was the weird overtime against Penn State. We mentioned the Nebraska game in the last segment. Minnesota, Northwestern get a rivalry win. I mean, overall, even though, there was still 7 losses and no bowl game, I have to imagine for most people that first season was seen as some sort of a success.
Yeah, I think so, very much so. I think two of the other games that they had won and they gave away at the end. They were, I think they held Purdue to 13 points or something like that, and just couldn't score, and had that lead late into that game and kind of gave it away. And then the Maryland game is one at home that really sticks in their craw, I think, because they were like a play away from winning that game. And I know Nebraska's had a lot of close losses, so they can certainly relate. But, I mean, that was one of those you're like, are serious? We gave that game away and then lost the game at home after we had the big win at Penn State, turned around and lost the game at home to Rutgers. So, I was just those were the 3 games, the Maryland and Purdue game especially, just really were games that you felt like if you win those, you're in a bowl game, which would have been a really successful season for Brett Bielema the first time around. But, I think the sense of direction, Brett has been very successful wherever he's been for the most part, especially at Wisconsin. And I think you got a guy that knows what he's doing. He grew up in the state of Illinois. He gets the state, gets the culture, gets the high school recruiting. He stepped that up locally in the state. And I think we're headed in the right direction.
Brian, looking at the offense first, saw that Illinois introduced the acronym AFAP to the offense this offseason as fast as possible. How fast are we talking there? What are they going to try to do tempo-wise on that side of the ball?
Well, I think, they want to do tempo. If you saw the team that we hired, Barry Lunny from Texas San Antonio last year, it was that kind of pace, I think. I mean, they're going to go fast when they want to. They can slow it down if they need to, but I think they came away very impressed. They wound up beating us in Champaign, and I think they made quite an impression on how their offense is tooled. And so I'm guessing that Barry Lunny is going to bring that same, it's not going to be, wide open, full throttle to the metal, but I think they're going to, try to get to the line of scrimmage quickly, try to, keep defenses off balance, don't give them a chance to get set. We saw a little bit of it in the spring game, not a whole lot, but some of it. And I think give you a pretty good idea of, I think, the direction they're headed.
Talking with Brian Barnhart, the voice of Illinois in Big Red Summer School, like a lot of teams did, Illinois also went into the portal to get a quarterback, Tommy DeVito from Syracuse, who ended up being the star of the spring game. Is this our presumed starter come game 1?
I would think that he would almost have to be, mostly because, and that's not to say there won't be competition, but I think Art Sitkowski's coming off an injury. We actually had Art do some color with us in the booth for the spring game, and it was pretty. He's just a great guy and very knowledgeable, and I think the guys love playing with him. He's kind of a natural leader. So, if he's healthy and ready to go, I think in the fall there's going to be some competition. But you're right, DeVito was the star of the spring game, and I think he made a really good impression early on with his mobility and his throwing ability. And but I think Art, will certainly be given every chance to try to win it back if he can. But I'd say if we were starting today, just based on the injury to Sitkowski from last year, but Tommy would probably be the guy at the start.
And Brian, it seems like they're going to have a really good back, whomever the starting quarterback is in Chase Brown. Is this season, do you think, about consistency for him? Because you look at the highs of last year, a couple of games with 200 yards rushing, a couple more with 100 yards, and then the other 6 were maybe a little bit lower, 44.3 yards per game. Finding maybe a more consistent balance with him, is that possible?
Yeah, I think so. And I think part of that, we were kind of plugging gaps on the offensive line last year. At times with injuries and flipping guys around and trying to get the right combination. So that may explain some of it, like when we played Wisconsin, they just shut us down. We couldn't run the football at all. I think having him healthy, having him being able to be out there, with the new offense. And I would think that's a good point, though. I think the consistency's got to be there for him, but the offense as a whole has got to be more consistent. You look at all the stats offensively from last year, you're not going to get it done. I forget what they averaged, 20 points a game. You're just not going to get it done. There were a couple of games that I mentioned where had they just run it or been able to throw it half, 50% better, they probably would have won the game. And so I think, that's a part that he needs to be more consistent, but I think the offense has to be more consistent too, because the defense was the big story last year. Ryan Walters came in as the defensive coordinator, and aside from the Virginia game in Charlottesville where they got blitzed by a really good offense, and Wisconsin pretty much, had played bully ball with them for the most part. The defense kept them in every game. It was the offense just wasn't consistent enough, and Chase is certainly a part of that. But man, what a great young man he is, and finished over 1,000 yards, which we hadn't had happen for a while.
Talking with Brian Barnhart, the voice of Illinois here in Big Red Summer School. Speaking of defense, Illinois, a lot of folks might have been surprised, but this was a top 15 unit in the country in preventing red zone touchdowns. Where does it take the next step this year?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I think you saw a lot of that show up in the Penn State game that you mentioned,
Yeah.
The 9 overtime game where you had one play basically every time and they had to stop it. And so, I think just another year on the defensive front, having Keith Randolph back, having Johnny Newton back, those are two, key guys on the defensive line. They are going to have to replace, a couple of guys in the secondary that have been around a long time. A guy like Tony Adams is gone, but you've got, some other guys back too, Devin Witherspoon and Sidney Brown, who have had really good careers at Illinois. So I think just continuing to make the plays they need to make. I mean, that was the biggest improvement was, when we saw the Virginia game, it was like, here we go again, giving up too many yards and too many points. And boy, from then on, they just really, the thing I was impressed with was the coaches being willing to make adjustments as they went, and not afraid to try something different rather than, just doing the same thing that wasn't working over and over again. So if they can continue to do that, and here's the other unique thing, guys, about the Illinois staff on the defensive side, Ryan Walters, there's a couple of other coaches that have been defensive coordinators somewhere else and have come to Illinois. So you had a room with 3 or 4 guys that had been coordinators on their own. And Ryan Walters, to his credit, didn't have the ego to say, well, no, I'm the defensive coordinator. We're doing what we're saying. They really collaborated really well for guys that had been the head of a defense before. And I think that helped too.
Brian, I can't imagine anything worse than being a player, going through the entire offseason, showing up in your first game, putting an incredible performance on the field, and getting hurt and missing the rest of the season. And that's what happened with Calvin Hart last year. Had a great game against Nebraska, but screws up his knee, misses the season. Recovery seems like it's okay. How has that gone for him, and what could he do on the field in 2022?
Yeah, he showed us in that one game. He did everything in that game, if you remember. And so it was like, man, that was a bigger loss than we realized at the time. I mean, you knew he'd had a great game. It was like, man, you'd love to see that at linebacker game after game and have him out there. He's doing well. He should be ready to go. He's going to be a key part of filling in some of the linebackers they've lost. Jake Hansen's not around anymore and some others. And so I think, he's going to be a key to have him back in that linebacker, which Illinois has had a great tradition of a lot of linebackers that have done well, and hopefully, through the portal and able to get him in last year, and hopefully we can see more of him than just part of a game.
Brian Barnhart, the voice of Illinois. The Huskers will see Illinois later this season, much later than they did last season.
Indeed.
Much later, but nonetheless, and Illinois going for 3 in a row in the series. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I don't know if that ever had in the series. I know there was a big gap in there of about 60 years or so, but I don't know if that's happened before or not.
I don't know if it is.
In the series, but I know they played some in the 20s about the time Red Grange was playing, and then a long gap in there until the 70s, I think. But yeah, no, it'll be weird not playing Nebraska like the first week of the season or the first Big Ten game. It'll be later in the year, so that'll be a little different.
Brian, appreciate it. Have a great rest of your summer.
Okay. Hey, thanks, guys.
You bet.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian Barnhart joining us here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. By the way, that game October 29th, so 2 days before Halloween. Nick's favorite holiday.
Halloween week.
Get spooky.
We get spooky in your basement, like always. So, we've talked a lot.
Weird sentence.
That's what you do, though. We've talked a lot about Nebraska, the idea of being close.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois can have a similar conversation. Now they got their asses kicked in a few of the games.
Yes.
But losses by 7, 3, 4, and 6 points. As you mentioned at the outset of the interview, they had a win over Penn State, a ranked team, a win over Minnesota, a ranked team, both those ranked teams at the time. They beat their rival in Northwestern. They beat Nebraska. And so it's funny because they go 5-7. They look like a better football team than they did in the last year under Lovey. And yet I can't help but wonder if they felt like they left wins on the table.
Yeah.
Bielema is a good coach. Like, I know that Arkansas did not go very well for him, but man, I still think he's a good coach. And I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen with Illinois this year and beyond. But their schedule, very weird. Did you see their schedule this season? I meant to ask this. We ran out of time. They play week 0 this year, like Nebraska.
They host Wyoming.
Now you're saying, oh, so they must have Hawaii. Nope, they don't have Hawaii. So they must have gotten some, I don't know. They're playing week 0. Then they play on Friday against Indiana.
So they have a short week.
So they play the week 0, and then they play week 1 Friday. Then they play a normal game week 2, and then they off week 4, but then they play on Thursday in week 5 against Chattanooga of all teams. So very strange. And then finally after that, it gets into the conference schedule, and it's much more normal. But just an odd start for them to have a week 0, and then, like you said, a short week and a Friday game at Indiana. Odd. Very odd.
Coming up next, Friends of the Program.
Damn it.
It's Dumb Debates.
Oh, Dumb Debates.
Dumb Debates. And Josh promises an F1 question.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, I got to find that one. But yeah, somebody tweeted an F1 question at us. Like, is it the dumbest sport or just really dumb? Wow. I was like, that's a good question. We'll save it for Dumb Debates. Just kidding, Nick. That's not the question. That's not the question. Just kidding.
You're really dumb, Josh.
Just kidding, Nick. Just kidding.
Dumb Debates is coming up next, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, a vehicle fire has the 2 left lanes blocked on eastbound I-80 near 72nd. It's got traffic stopped all the way back from L Street, so avoid it if you can. If you're east on L Street, expect delays from I-80 to about 90th with people bailing out to avoid the car fire. We've also got a crash with injuries causing delays on 90th at Blondo for northbound and southbound commuters. Got a crash on westbound 370 at 204th Street and delays on the southbound JFK from Q Street to Childs Road. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Burton AC, Plumbing, Heating, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
1180 The Zone is your home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball. The Storm Chasers are in action at Werner Park and beyond with an exciting team filled with future Major League stars. Join Jake Eisenberg for every pitch, every hit, and every out. Tune in and stir up the Storm all season long on 1180 The Zone.
The Storm Chasers are on the road versus the Rochester Red Wings. Pregame is set for 5:45.
First pitch at 6:05 on 1180 The Zone.
JTech Solar wants to give you a solar summer. You could win a solar system for your home worth up to $10,000. It's JTech Solar Summer Sweepstakes on Sweet 98.5. Get all the details and enter to win right now at sweet985.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
From your mom.
Listeners are not to, we did anyway, dumb debating.
John's computer sucks, Macs are the only way, dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mail in a base.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the plate, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away, dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around.
Even if it gives him fatal flatulation.
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
Yep, it's that time of week when we get down to the real nitty gritty. We take your dumb debate topics and we debate them, and you can send us your dumb debates anywhere, anyplace, anytime by using the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC1620. Use the hashtag dumb debates. You can also send them into the Equitable Bank inbox. Josh at 1620thezone.com, John at 1620thezone.com. You can even send them to Nick at 1620thezone.com if you want.
That's me. He'll probably send a bad joke back to you, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Or an objectively amazing joke.
Or you can text us your dumb debates.
It's so
to
bad.
the overmodulated text line 402-951-16.
So I've already fixed it, but I want to keep this just because I think it's funnier.
Wow.
I want to lean into this bit.
Oh, yeah, we shouldn't have made mention of it. Yep. Kells, the official pastry chef of the program, the one who has promised us to bake us a cake if Nebraska finishes inside the top 75 in special teams rankings.
Or if they go 9-3, or I guess 9-4, the 9-win cake.
The 9-win cake.
Oh, baby.
She asks, which is better, inside brownies or edge brownies? And are brownies better or worse with nuts? First off, inside brownies all day, every
Couldn't
day.
agree more. This is the opposite of cake, where I like the outside, especially the corner pieces of the cake, whereas the brownies, I like the inside pieces because it has the same kind of consistency and softness.
Yeah, the thing about brownies is when you bake them, the edges tend to crisp up a little bit, get a little hard. I mean, it's not bad.
It's a little hard.
but,
A little chewy.
But I like, you get the more
You
chewiness.
don't need to call Brookside.
Now,
They're a little hard.
I'm gonna skip ahead before we answer the second part of the question. We don't need frosting on brownies.
Good take.
I agree.
Don't need frosting on brownies.
Honestly, I would say that it ceases being a brownie anymore. When you're adding frosting, it's something else entirely. If you're like, hey, we're having brownies, and then you showed me brownies with frosting, I'm like, what are those?
I think there could be an exception for chocolate frosting on brownies. I think you could have an exception for that.
I disagree.
It
because
feels like a
it's
form
too
of
much
cake.
chocolate, but
I disagree only from the standpoint. I mean, I'm not going to reject a brownie with frosting on it, but I would much rather have a brownie with no frosting on it because the brownie itself is sweet. The thing about frosting on cake is most cake aren't that, if you just eat the cake part, isn't that sweet.
That's
so
the frosting that
the
usually.
frosting adds that, that added level of sweetness that you want in a dessert. You don't need that with brownies. So you eliminate the frosting, but absolutely give me some nuts in my brownies. I like nuts in my brownies.
I'd rather not have them in, but if somebody had brownies with nuts, I'd obviously eat them.
I think it depends on the nut for me. I mean,
typically we're talking
like macadamia,
pecans
right?
or
pecans.
walnuts.
Yeah,
are the type of nuts that end up in a lot of.
I'm not a huge pecan walnut guy. I'm very particular about my nuts.
See, I like the crunchiness, which is why when I
crunch,
which is why when I get peanut butter, I want the crunchy peanut butter. I like the
Great
texture.
take.
I like the texture. I just like the crunch. It just adds a little something. Doesn't really add anything to the flavor a whole lot. And I know there's people out there that got the nut allergies or just absolutely hate nuts, and I understand. But I like the crunch.
Whoa, so I don't like tomatoes on a sandwich, and you're afraid of it, but somebody doesn't like nuts, and you're like, I understand.
Well, that's a medical condition.
No, but he also said, and some people just don't like them, and he says, I understand. So, but that. Why does some food you have to be afraid of it, and other food you're like, I understand.
Well, I mean,
tomatoes are great
because you literally, didn't have cheeseburgers until you were in your 20s.
Other people who had cheeseburgers, I love mashed potatoes.
I just fear
stop
that,
relitigating the past, guys.
I just fear that you've been tormented as a child.
No, my parents were great. People
afraid
do
of
not
this,
forget. My parents were great. Brian throws out powdered sugar on brownies.
I like that.
I mean, it's
I
okay.
like it.
It's okay, but
I
again,
don't need it.
Unnecessary.
What about, is powdered sugar necessary on French toast?
No. Most French toast I have doesn't have powdered sugar.
When I make French toast, when she makes the French toast, I put powdered sugar on it every time.
But again, I think that's unnecessary because you're using syrup.
Right.
I'm
I think
assuming.
it's a different flavor. I love it.
I think the only time I've ever
too
had
much.
powdered sugar on French toast is if I got it at a restaurant.
Wow.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we did.
Mom never made it that way.
Yeah, my mom did.
That's not how Mama made it.
Your mom not as good as my mom, Nick.
We just didn't keep powdered sugar around the house. You just didn't use it for a lot of stuff.
We didn't keep it around the house. She had it with her baking things. It wasn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're keeping it around.
Josh's
That's
mom, but I
keeping
like
it
my
around
mom
the
better.
house.
No way.
It's not like your mom snapped her fingers and here comes powdered sugar.
Well, I mean, she'd probably say, "Go get the powdered sugar," and I say, "Yes, mom." And I go,
Well,
"Get
no,
it."
it was in the house. So that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah,
We didn't
okay.
keep a lot of that in the house.
I just imagine like you're walking in your room, and you're like, "Oh, there's no powdered sugar in here."
That's not powdered sugar.
Do you want to do the F1 question? Okay. Ty says, question for John.
Yep.
Would he rather watch a highlight reel of Shohei Ohtani and comment how great he is, or watch an F1 race from start to finish?
Well, if you're making me, first of all, I have no problem watching Ohtani
Again,
play.
you'd never
though
say
I
anything
would be
good about
watching
him.
it. Though I would be watching it on a bad baseball team.
Can I pick the race?
You watch the Cubs.
But that's my favorite team.
I'll give John.
The Angels are not my favorite team.
Let me pick a race.
you're
I'll
a
let you watch an
baseball
exciting
fan.
race.
You'd rather
Listen.
watch
If
the baseball.
if part of the
Normal.
exercise is I have to gush over and over again like you do about Ohtani,
Well, that's
then
pretty-
I'm definitely picking the F1 race.
It's pretty easy though, because he's
Hungary
really, really
2021.
good.
Yeah, he's good on a bad
What is that-
baseball team.
But why does that take away your enjoyment of him? What does that matter?
Again, I can
Dominic
appreciate.
Sue was on a
I can
10-4 football
See,
team.
Josh, this is something I understand.
you
I
you sound like a
understand why-
politician right now.
I
You
understand
can't just
why
answer
you
the
don't
question.
get it. But some of us live life at a higher standard.
Here we go.
Some of us have had a taste of the good life. Some of our teams have won Super Bowls recently or World Series.
You
for
liked
example.
Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood. Those guys were on bad teams a lot of the time.
But
Sammy
they played
Sosa-
for my team.
Is it impossible for you to appreciate someone that's
No,
not on
I
your team?
I do appreciate.
Again,
I do appreciate.
you've never said
I
anything good
appreciate-
about him.
I have too said good things about him. I just don't go on and on.
Every time I say
oh
this,
my God, it's the only reason that I exist now.
every time I say you never say anything good about him, all you would have to do is be like, he is the best two-way player in baseball in the last 100 years. And you never even say that.
He's also kind of the only two-way player in the
See?
last 100
Backhanded
years.
compliment. You can't even say one thing nice about him. You can't say one thing nice about him. It's crazy.
He's a great player.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
But I'm not going to go on and on like you do about how, oh my God, did you see what Ohtani did last night?
Don't you want to grow the game? Think about the college presidents, John.
Some of us
grow
are
the
about
game.
the wins.
Again, no, you're not.
I'm about
you watch
winners.
The Cubs.
Ohtani, he's a loser.
It's baseball.
He's a loser.
He's not a basketball player where he's one of 5 guys. He's a baseball player.
He's one of 9 guys.
He's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's a baseball
He's
player.
a
He's a really
pitcher.
good baseball player, but he's kind of a loser.
That's not his fault. He's the MVP.
What do you mean he's on that team?
It's not. Do you know how
the Angels got 2 of the best players in baseball? You know, that to me is more amazing than anything Ohtani has done. Is the Angels have 2 of the best players in the game,
they
maybe
suck.
the 2 very best players in the game, and they stink.
They're horrible.
They're terrible.
It says how bad the other guys are.
Exactly.
So what does that
You know
take
what they
away
should
from
do?
your enjoyment
Rob
of him?
Manfred should walk in today and say, you know what?
Trade him to the Yankees.
America is a happier place when the Cubs are good. Angels, you have to trade Trout and Ohtani to the Cubs. I guarantee you the Cubs would do better with them than the Angels have done.
Be
with
nice,
them.
because then you finally say some good things about the guy for once.
I do say good
Baez
things.
did cute things on the field, and you said Baez bitches every other day.
Because he
Meanwhile,
played for my team.
Shohei Ohtani does
My
things
team.
we've never seen in our lifetime, and you're
my
like,
team.
he's okay. Stop celebrating him so much. He's okay.
It's just you go over the top.
Over the top. I
You're
like
just a
watching
little-
him play.
You're just a little intense when it
John,
comes.
the guy is an MVP pitcher and hitter. This is awesome. It's so cool.
Cool.
We talk about romanticism in sports and childlike wonder. I have that for a baseball player, for your dumb sport baseball. And you're like, could you settle down, pipe down on the baseball?
I have childlike wonder too. I wonder all the time. How can the Angels suck so much?
It is pretty crazy that they suck so much. That's one of my favorite parts about him is that Tungsten O'Doyle tweet comes to pass every day. Nick, you know that tweet, right? Have you seen that tweet? Oh, you know that tweet.
What tweet?
It's like the most famous tweet.
The most famous tweet of all
I
time.
need the
No.
content of the tweet, not
All right.
just Tungsten O'Doyle.
All right, I'm gonna look it up real fast. Do you have a question?
Well, this one's a little bit older one, but I would be curious to hear what everyone says.
I found the tweet. I'll read it next.
The College World Series. Which zone employee actually works the hardest during the CWS?
You. Not even close. It's you. No, you did skip a game this year, so maybe it was Gary.
Yeah, you did skip a game. What's up with
I
that?
didn't skip a game. I couldn't do it. My voice was shot.
And I was there for one more game than you were.
John is involved with basic. I mean, if his voice doesn't go out, he is involved in literally every game. Nobody else can say that.
I was gonna say Chris.
Oh, Chris works very
Chris
hard.
is also
Because Chris is bouncing back and forth. Those of you who don't know, Chris Proudhon, who's our production assistant. I mean,
He's the Shohei Ohtani of 1620 The Zone. He does everything.
a two-way player, but he plays for a winning team.
That's true. We are.
But yeah, he's constantly doing stuff for us behind the scenes, schmoozing people. That's how we get some of our free swag and food. You know,
The one thing that I'll say
it's
about
also
you, though-
keeping everything, keeping everything sane and stable.
Yeah.
In a very insane, unstable situation.
That said, you have to be on, both on the air, but also on mentally the whole time. Like, he can take a 5-minute break if he wants to. He can.
Well, I usually take breaks when Kevin's talking. I just turn my mind off and just let him ramble.
Me up. No. I was down there almost every day this year. All right, here's the tweet, Nick.
All right, what's
It's from a guy named Matt. It says, every time I see an Angels highlight, it's like Mike Trout hit 3 home runs and raised his average to 528, while Shohei Ohtani did something that hasn't been done since Tungsten Arm O'Doyle of the 1921 Akron Groomsmen as the Tigers defeated the Angels 8-3. Like, that's so
really funny.
because it happened last week. They both hit home runs and they lost 5-4. It's like, how does this keep happening?
Because they suck.
They are a bad baseball
Some of us
team.
are just about winners.
Man.
We just want to watch winners.
Oh, bandwagon.
Jed says, come on, Josh. John hates Ohtani because he grew up watching the best two-way guy, Babe Ruth. Yeah, this is what it is. You're just one of those old.
Stop.
Dan says he's just mad Ohtani isn't a Cub. If you can't admit he's phenomenal, that's a shame.
I
couldn't agree
hold
more,
on,
Dan.
Hold on. I never have said any of these things. Once
We know
again,
you never say
Josh
anything
likes
positive
to
about it.
twist my words.
Hey, that was Dan who tweeted that in.
Yeah, but he's listening to you. And the big mistake, just like listening to university presidents about expansion. Don't listen to
Lick
Josh.
those boots like that collar does.
Will nobody think of the poor rich people?
Otani is fantastic. He's amazing. He's tremendous.
This is the nicest stuff you've ever said.
I've said this before.
I don't think
I
you
just
have.
don't gush on and on as if, oh my God, I want to have his children.
I don't want to have his children. I don't have anyone's children. No kids for me. No kids for me. Rick says it's Harrison Ford's 80th birthday. Is it his birthday today?
It is.
It is.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Harrison.
birthday, Mr. Ford.
He says, which prompts the Dumb Debates topic. What is your favorite Harrison Ford character, movie, and do you have a favorite scene from that movie?
I mean, I'm very hometown here, but it's Han Solo because
Definitely.
It's Star Wars.
Best-
I mean, the fact that he ad-libbed
it's the same line then.
the Empire, yeah, they were trying to figure out, what Han would say to Leia when Leia says "I love you," as he's about ready to get dropped into the carbonite, and Han just says, "I know."
I know.
And that was all ad-libbed.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember what the line that Lucas had, but it was probably something about, I love you
The
too.
Federation.
It's probably something about I love you too, Leia. I think that was actually the line is I love you too. And Ford said Han would not say that.
Yeah,
That's not Han's way.
He'd say, I know, you wench. I'm kind of surprised you didn't throw in you wench.
It was Star Wars, not medieval wars.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
But if I was to just say, okay, take Star Wars off the map. Obviously, Indiana Jones.
Oh, I know what your pick is.
Fantastic character. But
I know what it is. Can I guess?
Go ahead.
I don't care. Oh, no, he didn't say that. That was
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee. Damn it.
No,
I don't care.
I would go with John Book, the Philadelphia police officer he played in Witness.
I never saw this movie.
Oh, Witness
is streaming?
Witness is a good movie. That should be movie club selection.
I don't think I've seen Witness.
Because he goes undercover as an Amish person to help solve a murder because it was a cop kill. It was a cop killing. Really good movie.
It is on nowhere.
That's too bad.
Fubo.
Witness is a good film.
Early
80s.
I obviously love Han Solo, but I think my favorite. This is super vanilla. I love Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, especially when we find out how he got his name. He's like, I was very fond of that dog, like just defending it.
I thought you were gonna pick the fourth one in the fridge scene.
No, but I do have. It's like I liked Air Force One, and I think I like it more because in Scary Movie 2 or 3, they make Leslie Nielsen is the president. And he's like, sometimes I wonder what President Ford would do. And then it was a picture of Harrison Ford from Air Force One on the wall. I just love that joke. Air Force One is really good though.
Yeah, you said mine. Mine, I'll just be the basic person so we can move along, but I'll say Empire and I know.
Moving on.
That's the line. Zach says if Fox wanted the Big Ten at 24 teams and guaranteed $100 million per team, no matter what, or no matter who is chosen, what teams are you adding to get there? Does this mean we can take SEC teams, or is he just saying non-SEC teams? So we have carte blanche over the other schools to get to 24. So you got to name 8. Notre Dame, 17. Oregon, 18. Washington, 19. Why not? Stanford, 20. Kansas, Kansas, 21. I mean, if we're controlling everything, give me Clemson, Florida State, Miami. All right, what's that? That's 8. There we go. So it's a hodgepodge. I basically am going coast to coast, and I'm stealing some
I'd throw in
SEC
North
schools.
Carolina and Duke
Instead of
probably take out Stanford.
Get out of here, nerds. But the presidents.
Yeah. And screw you, Oregon.
Wow.
We don't need your stupid neon.
Oh, here we
constant
go.
changing of uniforms. This is the Big Ten.
Good-
We're about tradition here.
Good Lord.
We're not about.
I don't
being all
like
these-
fun things.
Seriously.
It's the Big Ten. That's actually one of their slogans. We don't like fun things.
I got a couple texts if you want.
Go ahead.
This one first comes from Travis. If SMU never received the death penalty, would they still be relevant in football?
Who, SMU?
Yeah. Well, the fun question about this, and it kind of goes off it, is would they have gotten a Big 12 invite instead of Baylor?
Or does the Southwest Conference go away?
Good question. You
I
almost
think
wonder if it
eventually
does
it probably
because they
does.
all were cheating, right?
Right, but man.
Or is that the first super conference? The Big Eight and the whole Southwest kind of come together.
That actually, you know what? That could have happened.
Or does Nebraska and Oklahoma go to the Southwest Conference?
Oh my God!
Instead of them, breaking off, the Big Eight kind of breaks up.
It's an interesting what if.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting what if, but I do think that the future of the Southwest Conference has dramatically changed. Also, does Arkansas leave?
See, I was just thinking the same thing too.
They probably still do. I'm not as up to speed on why Arkansas left. I think a lot of it did have to do with the fact that they were in a Texas-centric conference.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they still leave. But I think the future of the Southwest Conference is dramatically different if SMU is allowed to function normally and continue to grow and develop into a power.
Yeah. I don't know if they're like they obviously don't have the drop off like they did. I do wonder about their current place. Like the one thing, of course, going against them in terms of being a great college football team is like they are in a pro sports town, and it's just so hard for those teams to always be good.
Yeah.
Like USC, I think, is a prime example.
Yeah.
Let's
see. Salt Creek Brews. Should Frost have a discussion with the media on what is okay to report and what is not?
I assume that's about injuries.
Probably.
Well, and you can speak to this probably better than I can. Like injuries in college football, or at least with Nebraska, it's almost like this kind of agreement, right? Like we won't report it because you want to tell the families.
Yeah.
See, and the reason that I remember it like being controversial over the years was a player would get hurt in practice, it would get reported, and that the family would find out about it. Now, I'd say this. Thomas Fidoni's family knows what's going on with him. It's been months.
Either that or they've kept him in a hole somewhere and his family's been wondering where he is.
Exactly.
I don't think it's ever good. If you're truly an independent media, the people that you're covering should not tell you what you get to or don't get to report.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that's going to make some of you either spit take or drive off the road, but I do believe that you have to trust the media ethics of being fair in what you report.
Yeah, don't just
and not
spread
plagiarize or slander someone. But I don't believe that the subject of a story should be dictating to anyone what can and cannot be reported.
If you can confirm it without a shadow of a doubt,
right,
then I think you do it.
Absolutely.
I'm not a reporter. I don't report very often. But I only go forward with something if I truly know that it's 100% true. I don't go with anything that's like 99%.
Right. The other thing too is, and this will also shock some people, but it's not the media's job to play cheerleader.
No, definitely not.
Even though some of us do.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're not media. We're chit-chat hosts.
Yeah, we're entertainers. Do we succeed? 402.
I do all the time. I'm hilarious. You're welcome.
I'm not sure about that. Husker fan for life. Since the Olympics used to be played completely in the nude, if that was still true today, which modern sport would be the worst one to participate in?
What was this?
The original Olympics were performed
nude.
Nude.
So which one would be the
worst to participate in?
What's the one? It's
javelin.
Is that the javelin where you have the stick and then you run and then you?
No, that's a pole vault.
Yeah, pole vault.
Javelin. Oh yeah, javelins you throw. Look,
first of all,
the
even whether
running
you're
stuff.
clothed or not clothed, you're not getting stabbed by the javelin, so it doesn't. So your clothing really doesn't matter.
No, that's a pole vault. I wanted to say pole vault.
But if you get stabbed and you're naked versus stabbed wearing an outfit, like it's gonna hurt really bad.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter.
That
It's
ain't
not
gonna
gonna
protect
save
you.
you.
Yeah, I honestly do think about the running sports just flopping around all over the place. The 100-meter dash, ouch! Got to hold your kibbles and bits in place.
All the flipping and the flopping.
Oh, that's a lot of flipping and flopping.
Yeah. I would say running events would not be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other like physical events. Are there like physical like Jed fencing would not be fun naked?
Yeah.
That's true because you're just getting
Well,
stabbed.
if we're gonna
stabby,
are we using modern Olympic games?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't say wrestling. Do they still wrestle in the Olympics?
Well, wrestling is
Who
literally
cares?
one of the original Olympic sports.
No, I know,
believe
but do they
wrestle.
still?
I believe they wrestle.
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah, Aaron says, dude, wrestling? Yeah, that'd be. What a dumb sport.
Listen, some of those.
I hate wrestling. Don't wow me. Don't
That
you
is
do this.
terrible.
You hate sports too. It's okay to hate a sport. Always pandering. You're always pandering to the wrestling crowd, all 5 of them. Unless Ed is listening. Ed, I'm sorry. Ed loves wrestling. It was great when the Big Ten news came down.
It's okay to pick on wrestling, but if someone says they don't like soccer, oh my God.
I don't
heart
care.
failure. Collective heart failure.
When
oh, you don't like the beautiful game.
When
It ain't so beautiful.
UCLA and USC, when that happened, Ed came over and he's like, man, this sucks for wrestling. I thought he was making a joke, but he was. John and I laughed. And then I looked over him and he was serious and I felt bad. Sorry, Ed. Sorry.
Well, Paul, I can answer your question. Will the USFL make one whole season? Yes.
They did.
They already announced it.
They did.
And they're back next year, and they did make it through the whole season. And Mike Riley was the coach of the year.
Mm-hmm.
True story. People forget that.
Ooh, Adam says hurdles.
Ooh, you don't want to
hit something on the hurdle?
You don't want to graze
Again, though,
anything.
if you hit something,
like
on
even
the
like a
hurdle,
slight tap.
whether you have a pair of jogging shorts on or not, you're still gonna hurt something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the running sports in general, because you do want to keep the things contained.
Yeah. Yeah, and now it's funny because we just were doing summer stuff. Mike says, literally any Winter Olympic sport.
Oh, I didn't even think
cross country skiing.
Oh God.
Yeah. Frostbite. I just think of frostbite with like all that stuff.
Oh, we had that story that we talked about. Remember that guy who got the frostbite?
Yeah, he got frostbite on his kibbles and bits.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe all of those sports.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. And that, friends, is Dumb Debates. Keep sending us those.
I think you should reconsider the Formula One thing, because I can give you exciting races to watch, John, and it's only 2 hours.
I already said I'm picking the Formula One because you're putting these stipulations on me that not only do I have to watch Ohtani, which I have no problem watching because I like baseball, but then I have to sit there the whole time and gush like Josh does.
That wasn't
my God, that is the greatest slider I ever saw in my life.
That wasn't a part of it.
That was part of the question.
No, it's just you have to watch it and
I have to
appreciate his
watch
greatness or something like that.
No, I had to watch it and acknowledge his greatness. I can acknowledge his greatness. Yeah, great.
There you go. So you just acknowledge this. So you'd rather do that. You've watched Formula One. There's no rubbing. That ain't racing.
Well, when there is, they go flying into the catch fence.
Yeah. And then cars catch on fire.
And then the race.
That doesn't happen in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah, they catch fire.
I know.
They catch fire.
Play along. Remember, they don't have engines.
Oh, that's right.
How can they catch fire if they don't have engines, Josh?
Oil. They just dump oil. I don't know. You know how cars work, Nick. Duh.
Just dump oil.
Thought you knew how cars worked.
Just dump
Guess
oil.
not.
You know what the zone deal is this week?
What is it?
Cops.
Oh, pizza?
Yes.
And
pizza,
wings?
wings,
Salads?
salads. Visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center with their 180th and Center location opening this weekend, which means those two $25 vouchers for only $25, you can start to cash in this weekend at the new location.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if they're opening at 9. But they go on sale this Friday at 1620thezone.com.
Zone, taste of our takes. Sharp and Benning in the morning.
So the rhythm of the game was not very good.
What are you, Janet Jackson or somebody?
It's the rhythm of the night.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go into full.
No. You should have just stayed with
asked
Janet.
before I said.
Just be a part of the Rhythm Nation.
I thought Rhythm was a dancer.
Oh my gosh.
Now, see ya.
For more, tune in every day to 1620 a.m. or go to 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
The clear skies and mild conditions will continue throughout the evening hours as temperatures only cool into the upper 60s and lower 70s around daybreak Thursday. Your Thursday afternoon will include mostly sunny skies, a bit breezy at times. Southerly winds could gust as high as 20 to 25 miles an hour. Afternoon high of 94 degrees. Meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KTV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, a vehicle fire has the 2 left lanes blocked on eastbound I-80 at 72nd, and traffic is stopped all the way back from Q Street, so avoid eastbound I-80 this evening. Also, stop and go traffic on the southbound 680 between Pacific and eastbound I-80. And then also, if you're west on I-80, significant delays between 42nd and 108. Got a crash on 90th at Blondo affecting northbound and southbound commuters. A wreck on westbound 370 at 204th. And then road work going to have that right lane closed, causing delays on the northbound JFK from Gilmore Ave to L Street. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Burton AC, Plumbing, Heating, and more.
The dog days of summer are here in Burton. AC Heating, Plumbing, and More is offering a special $55 AC system check. Each system check donates 10 pounds of pet food to the Nebraska Humane Society. Give us a call or request service at justcallburton.com.
The thing about a mortgage is you only need it when you need it. Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists on finding a good mortgage professional. When you're first going over the idea of buying a home, it's likely the first thought you have is, where do you get the mortgage? So you spend a lot of time going through your online reviews to find the right mortgage company to help you buy your home, like this one from D. Fossey.
We had the most wonderful experience with mortgage specialists. My husband and I were so impressed with the personalized service we received. The whole process could not have gone any better.
It's pretty humbling that someone takes the time out of their day to write a review like this. It means we've done our job to make sure they could get into the home of their dreams. So if you're thinking about buying a home, please give Mortgage Specialists a look. We'll cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and make the process of buying a home easy.
Click mtg-specialists.com.
Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.
NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
The Mazda lineup of SUVs will provide safety, performance, and capability on your journey ahead. From the 3-row Mazda CX-9 to the first ever Mazda CX-50, our sales team is ready to guide you to the SUV for your lifestyle. Shop the Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers at Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda. Visit us online for your next Mazda SUV at woodhousemazda.com.
The Lindley Clothing Summer Sale is on now. Save big time store-wide. Shorts and sports shirts, golf wear, casual slacks and accessories, and suits and sport coats. The Lindley Clothing Summer Sale. Lindley Clothing at Linden Market, 132nd, just north of Dodge.
Mom, Zoe said she wants to go to Funflex.
Your infant sister told you this?
Uh-huh. She wants to splash in the water.
Yeah.
And ride the go-kart, play on Makana Splash, and go down the Rocket Rapids.
What?
And went to Cabana. We can spend the day.
She said all this, huh?
Uh-huh. Zoe also said we should invite my friend Caleb. It would be really fun for me. Zoe.
Right.
It's all for fun and fun for all at Funplex. 70th and Q, dude. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct. The 1620. The Zone.
Another pick for the Naked Olympics. Which sports would be bad? Scott says equestrian.
Oh, bareback on a horse.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Ouchies.
Well, that bareback.
I would assume so. Riding a horse isn't comfortable with clothes.
Well, yeah, that, and you might have to deal with the ASPCA, never mind.
Plus you have to deal with horses. Horses are scary.
That's right. Josh is out on horses.
Get rid of horses.
Josh
It's
is
the
out
platform
on
I'll run
horses.
for president on when I'm 35. Oh, I'll be 35 for the next presidential election.
I'm not anti-horse, but they make me uneasy. I don't know why.
Because they want to kill you,
I
probably.
don't trust them.
They definitely don't like your jokes.
So you're going to
Yeah, they
run?
do.
You should run.
I could.
You should.
Why not?
I mean,
And what happens? So people donate to me.
Your side definitely needs a little help in that department right
I think
now.
all the sides need a little help right now.
Well,
John.
good point.
So
you could run as a Republican.
I definitely not. So I run. People donate money. The friends of the program, obviously, because they would support my, the ideas that I have. I have to drop out. What happens to that money? Do I keep the money?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is all a scam.
No,
for you, is what you're saying.
just asking questions, doing my own research, just wanting to know. I'm being serious though. I've always wondered what happens to all that money.
I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah. It's also a reason why any political contribution I would tax ×3.
For me?
For anybody.
For the people
if
who
you
run?
donate to a political party or a candidate, you get taxed 3 times on that money.
For the person who donates?
Yep.
That doesn't seem nice.
Exactly.
Or fair.
Because you're throwing money down a
Why do
hole.
people believe in things, John?
Throwing money down a hole.
Jordan says in the shocker of the day, Josh is talking about himself running again.
Mm-hmm.
Well played, Jordan. That is very, very funny.
Well, and earlier he talked about his trip to Mexico. So what are we missing here?
What's the bingo card?
Well, he got
the
the
bingo
croissant sandwich in Mexico, remember?
Did not get a croissant sandwich in Mexico, Nick. Nobody listens to me anymore. I got an email, and I want to read this because it just reads, help!
Oh, God, are they okay?
I think Blake maybe wants me to run for president. Blake, I'm here for you, but I'll read your email. It says, guys, I'm a huge Husker fan. I mean huge. Huge.
I'm sorry.
Huge.
I love everything that there is about Husker football, especially. Even though losing? Sorry, Blake. However, I've been struggling lately until this year of changes. I am maybe overly optimistic about 2022. I feel that 8 to 10 wins is possible. I have touted to all my fellow Husker fans that when we play Iowa, we will be in the West Division championship discussion. So last week of November will matter for the Huskers. Here's my question. How else can I support this? A group of buddies and I have a constant conversation, and they all think 7 is the ceiling. I feel like they don't want this to work, but they claim to be fans. It is starting to piss me off, and I need ammo. Besides me calling them K-State and Iowa fans and offering to buy them Iowa shirts, I'm running out of ideas. Do you guys think 8 to 10 is crazy?
I think Iowa shirts are cool.
I don't think it's crazy, but I also don't think it's crazy to think that 7 is the ceiling, too.
Yeah, I think 7 is the ceiling.
I mean, that's the thing. This is one of the hardest to guess seasons, which is why I'm probably not coming off the number 6.
We had a winnable game.
Winnable game!
Because for every argument you can make one way, I can make a counter the other way. And I think a very solid counter the other way. So, no, I don't think you're crazy that 8 to 10 is possible.
But to be that bullish that they're going to be in the West Championship discussion at the end of November, like I would,
Well,
I wouldn't feel
but
that confident.
if you're in the
yeah, that's true.
8 to 10 win range and that late in the season, then yeah, you would be in the.
The thing that I, in a serious response to Blake, the thing that I always love to do in these conversations is imagine that a team, you don't even have to dislike them strongly.
Right.
Imagine. So this doesn't have to be Iowa for you, but just imagine a team, college football team. They've had the last 5 years Nebraska has.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard one of their fans, you were talking to somebody and they're a fan of that team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I think we're going to be in the mix for the division this year. You'd ask them why. What
You'd say what? Did you get moved to the NFC East? The worst division in sports?
Did a mean horse kick you in the head?
Right.
You'd want, in all seriousness, you'd want to know, like, but what am I missing? So
that's a great point. If you can remove the goggles, the red colored goggles, and just remove the team and all that stuff, yeah, on the surface, you'd be like, dang, either the rest of that division fell off a cliff, or there's something else here that I'm not seeing. Because you're right. You look at the last 4 years, it's been a disaster. And yeah, there's been a lot of changes and there's been, transfers in, transfers out, all of this other stuff. But again, like I said earlier, for every argument I could make to go to one end of the pendulum, I can make, I think, a pretty solid counter argument why it ends up at the other end of the pendulum. I don't think it's crazy, Blake, to think Nebraska can win 8 to 10 games. I also don't think it's crazy for them that they could lose 8 to 10 games. Yeah. That's how wide a berth this season is. About the only thing I am leaving out entirely is perfect season on one end, imperfect season on the other. But literally, I could go
right now. 1-11.
I could see. I think 3-9 is my floor,
definitely,
and I think 9-3 is my ceiling. Maybe you could talk me into 10-2 being a season. Nate, I know you're listening. 10-2, Nate. But I could see both ends of the spectrum, which is why, typical John, I'm in the middle.
Very on brand.
Because that's where all the smart people live.
I wouldn't say that.
But seriously, I do see 8 to 10 possible.
Yeah.
I also see 8 to 10 loss as well. Actually, more like, 7 to 9 losses is possible too.
Yeah, and I agree with Jordan. So you have to think a team will be good to be a fan. Guess I'm not a fan anymore. Like, no, that's the come on, Blake. You
I came into the
have to
season knowing the Cubs were going to suck.
Yeah, you don't have to be so critical of your friends just because they're like, I think they're going to be bad this year. It's okay. It's okay to think your favorite team is going to be bad. It's okay.
Get the Iowa shirt.
Don't do that. We need to get to our screwball
of the day.
Screwball of the day.
What did you killed it?
I forgot it was on the same thing.
Jeez.
Screwball of the day.
Time of the screwball of the day.
Which in a past life would have been known as the message board posting of the day.
Which also aired at this time.
At this exact same time.
So, and this is
we
fun.
may need to bring this back.
Just for this?
Well, after the screwball of the day is done, we may need to bring back the message board post of the day.
And Nick could do it every day?
Sure.
He could scroll the scrolls.
He could scroll the scroll.
Go to Nebraska coming soon every day. You have to put a time limit on at least 30 minutes, though, of research.
I won't understand anything that's happening.
That would make it funnier. So there was a post on Nebraska coming soon, home of Steve Sipple.
Yep.
Among others. From Warshrags1. Is this you? Is this your burner account, Warshrags1? Warshrags wrote, have an inside source that happens to work at the country club in Lincoln. Head ball coach has been playing almost every day for the last couple of months. Not sure if he's getting ready to make a run at the Live Tour after this season, but I don't think football is on his mind. Now, Mr. Warshrags, he had a bad time on the message boards after that. People were yelling at him, making fun of him. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
there are a
blah.
lot of folks that got triggered. This has been an ongoing thing, a thread there on the old scrolls for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah.
Since last weekend.
So there was a post from Puffy Knee Pads that said, as a CCL member who's played a lot of daytime weekend golf this summer, or weekday golf this summer, I've not seen him around. He's not been on the tee sheet. Check your sources. Now, this is where Warshrags becomes today's screwball of the day.
Yeah, he gets a little defensive.
Because he says...
And offensive.
Yes. What's your name, tough guy? I'll make sure you never tee it up in this town again. Not everyone has the same set of rules. He's out there playing, and just because you haven't bumped into him yet for an autograph doesn't mean he's not out there.
Damn, he went from like 0 to 100 like that.
I thought he was going to threaten to fight him.
How's he going to make sure he never tees off in this town again? There's so many golf courses.
This guy has some sources.
Well, first of all, Warshrags would also have to be a member of the country club to keep puffy knee pads off the golf course because, you know, he golfs at the country club of Lincoln. Which, by the way, should be widened at 27th. That's the big reason why 27th Street is one of the dumbest streets in Lincoln, where it's 4 lanes everywhere else. But through the country club neighborhood, nope, it's 2 lanes and you can't get anywhere.
Hey, those people might be college presidents. You respect them, John.
Lincoln
Streets
I'll
aren't the
respect them,
screwball.
which is why if I ran for mayor of Lincoln, I would build a 9-lane mega overpass. It'd make the Dodge Expressway look like Capitol Street
like an
behind
FCS
us.
conference.
Yeah.
I love this idea. 9 lanes.
But that's just me.
Congrats to Warshrags, our
Congrats to
screwball of the
Warshrags.
day.
No, that's not my burn.
Brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey.
Find Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey where you find your favorite spirits. Coming up next, it is time for some content.
Hell yes.
And in said content today, a unique idea for conference basketball tournaments, and Nebraska has triggered Sooner fan.
No.
On 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 13th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your erectile dysfunction without any pills or side effects. If you're ready to regain your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, and it's only good today, Wednesday, July 13th. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and see what can happen in your relationship. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 402-671-7777.
Jake and Christine knew they needed help renovating their dream home. As a Pella advisor, I make sure every step of getting new windows and doors is smooth, including setting you up with our Pella Care Guarantee. It covers everything from product to installation with some of the strongest warranties in the industry.
Get more with Pella. Let us personalize an offer just for you. Visit PellaOmaha.com/radio for more details.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
If you're living with chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, I've got exciting news for you.
Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader and Hall of Famer.
Now you can get relief from pain without harmful medications and surgery. Call my guys at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics specializes in biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue. I'm talking about natural pain treatments now available, not just for pro athletes, but to people like you.
At QC Kinetics, we're seeing patients every day who suffer from chronic joint pain but who desperately wanted to avoid surgery. We're treating joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions with long-lasting results.
Listen, it's all about getting your life back. Playing touch football with kids, walking upstairs pain-free, getting back on a job, and patients at QC Kinetics are raving about the results.
QC Kinetics. Call to learn more about restorative treatments that can get you back in the game.
Call QC Kinetics, 402-205-4960. That's 402-205-4960. 402-205-4960.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some unsportsmanlike content. Unsportsmanlike content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
Nick, please take us through this segment we call Unsportsmanlike content.
Some Oklahoma fans on Twitter are triggered about the Huskers only allotting 3,000 visiting tickets for the game in Lincoln, according to @SoonerPrices on Twitter, so that the OU-Nebraska rivalry can move from respect to hate. Nebraska only sent 3,000 tickets to Oklahoma. OU needs 1,200 for family, staff, etc. Fans get 1,800. If you made a significant donation to OU and didn't get tickets, you can only blame Nebraska's cheap butts. Thoughts?
First of all, Nebraska Cheap Butts was a third runner-up when they picked the nickname.
Back in the 1800s?
After they moved on from Bug Eaters. It was Cornhuskers, Old Gold Knights, and Cheap Butts. Well, first of all, Oklahoma, there's a very easy way if you really want to get into the stadium, especially for young Sooner fans who normally don't get the opportunity to attend games. It's called the red carpet experience.
So just move to Nebraska for a day, and you'll get tickets because they won't sell out probably.
Well, I mean, it is the Oklahoma game, I think, though. So
They haven't sold out yet. 3,000. This is normal, right? This isn't any different than most road games.
I think
I
so.
like playing against road games.
I think so, though. It did seem like a smaller number to me for some reason.
Go buy them on the secondary market. Like, isn't this what happens?
Yeah. Do you want to get stuck way up there in the boondocks of the North Stadium? Get yourself a nice club seat ticket and sit in the midst of all the Husker fans.
Yeah, who will be sitting the whole time, so you'll be fine. You'll have a great view.
Yeah.
Dumb. What a dumb complaint.
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb, the NBA. On Tuesday, owners discussed an in-season tournament concept featuring all 30 teams, which would lead to 8 teams entering a single elimination round to determine the winner. It would end with the Final Four at a neutral site. We could see this by 23-24 season at the earliest. Is this something you two want? Would fans want it? Would players want it? Would I want it?
Nick definitely would want it. Would I want it? Not really. Would fans want it? Not really. Would the players want it? What's the catch? Or what's the reason why?
What are you playing for?
It obviously has to be a ton of money. Is there any sort of playoff seeding? Do you get anything for winning this? Do you get a better lottery ticket for the actual lottery? Do you get something in the playoffs? Like, they're trying, like, I get it. It's a long regular season, and right now, the interest in, I think, the NBA's regular season is at a low for recent years. But it's not because there's too many games, but it's not because there's not an in-season tournament. It's because superstars keep sitting out games because they want to save themselves for the playoffs.
Because there's too many games.
This is not going to fix that. So and also, look, they're trying to do something like soccer does. But you can't just invent random things. Like, I don't get it.
The NBA's been constantly floating ideas like this forever.
Yes, they have.
Or seemingly forever, where it's like, we got to do some kind of mid-season tournament, this and that. It's like, who's going to care? Really, who is going to care? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to mean anything. There's only one tournament in the NBA that means something. It's called the playoffs. So, and if you stick this, let's say in January, are people going to pay more attention to the NBA in January because of this?
Because the in-season tournament?
Guess what? They're going to be paying attention to the same things they always pay attention to in January. The NFL and regular season college basketball.
Gross.
Speaking of the NBA, Adam Silver is in favor of lowering the age limit to enter the league. Is this a good move if it comes to pass?
I'm not a fan personally because I like the idea of, having, some of these players. And I realize the NBA is different than the NFL, where the NFL, you got to sit out 3 years and wait. I'm not even though, there's a lot of one and doneers and some people are annoyed by the one and doneers. Hey, I'd rather have some of these great players for 1 year in college basketball than 0. So I don't know if lowering the age limit is necessarily a great idea. And would it, again, similar to the previous question, would it make the NBA better? I don't know.
Yeah, like on one hand,
doubt it.
I like it in the sense of like the players having an opportunity to go play right away in the NBA when it's obvious that they're going to college just to get past like their first semester of classes and then never going again. Like, I get it from that perspective. The one thing that I wish that they could do, and we're probably never going to be able to go back to something like this, is the baseball model. I love that if you go to college baseball, you got to be in college for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good for the sport of college baseball, but it's also good for the athletes because it gives them a chance to make the choice. But it does seem like today in 2022, forcing a player to go to school for that long as a new rule is kind of untenable. Meanwhile, in football, it's okay for a few reasons. One, it's been around like that forever, but also there's this kind of general understanding that you need to be at a lower level because 18-year-olds going up and playing football with grown men is probably a bad idea. So I get it's fine. I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm.
Baker Mayfield says he pitched a moving out version of his Progressive insurance commercial, but the Ohio-based firm turned it down. Will you miss the Baker Mayfield commercials this fall?
That's honestly, it's kind of funny that they turned it down because he's not very good. If he was a better quarterback, they'd still be around. Will I miss them? I'll miss the first run of each commercial. After that, seeing the same ones every Sunday got a bit tiring. I liked them the first time, though.
It's like any good commercial. Eventually, you get tired of it because you see the same one over and over. So
commercial after commercial after commercial.
No, I'm probably not going to miss his commercials. It's gonna be less exposure for his wife. She got cameos in those commercials. Will he be doing commercials for like local Carolina car dealers now? We won't see those.
No, we will not. Yeah, he might be off the national ad campaign for a little bit.
I'm guessing he probably will be. But that's all right. It leaves more room for Matthew Stafford, a clearly top 5 quarterback in the National Football League, Mike Schaefer.
Yeah, you could probably, use something for an insurance sponsor, but he's going to keep pushing people off of places.
Ooh. Yeah, but as we found out, she kind of did.
That's true. Pro-Nazi.
Yesterday on ESPN, Bobby Marks said that Steph Curry is the second best player of all time. Does having to do a chit-chat show in the summer make you dumber?
Are we sure he didn't say second best player in the game today? Because that I buy.
He definitely said only behind Michael Jordan. God.
No. Stop. Please. Just stop. Stop. He's not the second best player in the game.
I think there has to be a freedom to doing a national show where you can just show up and say the most ridiculous stuff possible. And it just
because
doesn't
then it
matter.
gets smaller shows like ours to talk about it because someone put the question in it.
Props to you, Bobby Marks. We just talked about you in content.
Yep.
ESPN's NFL rankings of position players has officially jumped the shark. Cooper Kupp was not the top-rated receiver in a panel of so-called experts. Devontae Adams was. Tell the world, John, why you think ESPN should shut its doors forever.
Well, for what Bobby Marks said, but how do you deny the Super Bowl MVP, the man who hit the triple crown of receiving, yards, catches, touchdowns, triple crown? He's the best in the game, Devontae Adams. He was so bad they ran him out of Green Bay. Get out of here with this Devontae Adams noise. Cooper Kupp, America's receiver.
You know, the
real MVP, the people's MVP.
The best part about this, too, is there's no Packers fans that are going to hop in your mentions and defend, Devontae Adams anymore because we don't have very many
And
Raiders
most Raider fans are in prison anyway and don't have access to the internet.
That's what happened to Shane.
Look, wow.
This is a joke.
I get it. Adams being number one is fine with me. But I would say this. He no longer has Aaron Rodgers, and so I think you could make the argument that he is not the number one receiver, if only because of that now. That he won't have as good of a quarterback. Honestly, the bigger bone that I have to pick with this, Jamar Chase was awesome. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Third best? Third
that
best?
seems a little high.
I think Justin Jefferson is better, his former teammate. Look, what I just said about Devontae Adams, throw it back in my face with this, but I think Tyreek Hill is better.
What about Diggs?
I was going to say, I think Stephon Diggs is better. So, look, I think he's
good.
Don't
forget OBJ when he's healthy.
I think he's old man Doug. I think he's good. He's obviously good. But man, third already? Eggs.
The Western Athletic Conference is going to send its basketball tournaments using an analytics formula developed by noted analytics guru Ken Palm. Do you like this innovative new idea for a mid-major conference?
Sure. Why not? It's weird and it's goofy, but it's different. And also, who cares? It's just seeding for a random tournament. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of them goofy things about college basketball, but, you can play the entire season and all you have to do is get hot for 3 or 4 games during your conference tournament and you get the auto bid to the NCAAs. Yeah, sure. It's unique. I wouldn't endorse it for the Big East or the Big Ten.
Yeah, sure.
But for a league like this, sure, why not? I'll be curious to see how it works in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Josh,
Nick,
real quick, you and many other people on many other sides keep tweeting about something called The Bear. What is this, and why should we be watching?
Half-hour show on Hulu, only 8 episodes. It's about a person who had worked in Michelin 5-star, 3-star, whatever, the fanciest restaurants in the world, comes home to Chicago and runs his family's local sandwich shop. That's kind of the beginning of the story. Awesome show. We watched it in 3 days. The only reason we didn't watch it in 2 is because we wanted to save 3 more episodes for one more day. We loved it. It was awesome. The cooking in the show was very, very good.
So basically what we're watching here is Top Chef.
No, it's not a reality show. It's a real. It's a drama.
Yeah, but you just described how great the cooking is. It
looks amazing.
So it's like watching Top
The
Chef.
cooking scenes were great.
I'm sure they were great.
They were. John, top 2 shows that I've seen this year, this would be on that list. It's a great show. And it's only
But does it have
hour.
a theme as good as BJ and the Bear?
I don't know what that means.
That was an 80s show on NBC. BJ McKay and his best friend Bear. He was a truck driver who had a
Boiler up.
He had a monkey with him.
Oh, nice.
The monkey's name was Bear.
Okay. Oh, I think I might have seen a picture of this before. Thank you.
BJ McKay and his best friend Bear.
It's very, very good. It's really good.
I didn't watch any of the show, but I always watched the beginning credits because the song was really cool. Yeah. Bet of the day. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
The Mazda lineup of SUVs will provide safety, performance, and capability on your journey ahead. From the 3-row Mazda CX-9 to the first ever Mazda CX-50, our sales team is ready to guide you to the SUV for your lifestyle. Shop the Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers at Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda. Visit us online for your next Mazda SUV at woodhousemazda.com.
Summer is here, and if you have a gotta get it done this year project, trust the official exterior experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction. Call them for a free estimate on roofing, siding, windows, or even solar. They're close by with 3 locations in Nebraska, including Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. Need financing? J-Tech offers 0% interest for 60 months. Call 402-261-3682 or go online to yourexteriorexperts.com. J-Tech Construction, Nebraska's exterior expert.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Sharp. When you want to go local to an event, sit in the front row, you want to go national and have the best seats, where do you go? I go to ticketsforless.com. They always have the best selection with the best prices. You can score great deals online at ticketsforless.com and no service fees at checkout. You want to go to the College World Series. You want to go to Lincoln to a football game. You want to go to an away football game. You want to go to the Orpheum. You want to go to Arrowhead to see the Chiefs play. Ticketsforless.com has your seats. Score great deals today. It's easy, it's fast, and no service fees at checkout. Ticketsforless.com.
Imagine it's a scorcher and your home's AC just quit. Sometimes it's beyond repair and needs to be replaced. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. Modern AC systems are more energy efficient, which is good news for your energy bill. Call 402-788-1234 or visit McCarthy's1hour.com.
Always on time, or you don't pay time. Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Right now, you deserve the network more people rely on. That's why we're introducing Welcome Unlimited for just $30 a line per month for 4 lines with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Our best priced unlimited plan ever.
Did he say $30?
Yep, $30 a line for the whole family. The network you want, the price you love. Switch to Verizon today. Paper-free billing required. Unlimited 5G nationwide 4G LTE. In times of congestion, your data may be temporarily slower than other traffic. All smartphone lines on the account must be on Welcome Unlimited and are eligible only for select promotions. Includes domestic talk, text, and data usage only. Data roaming at 2G speeds.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, building healthy and happy break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
Stop being a dumbass! This is unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you?
Now, it's time for the unsportsmanlike conduct bet of the day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding me.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
Folks, if you would have bet all of our bets of the day last night, you would have been a winner, winner, winner. Woo!
Congratulations to us.
Also, John's Monday bet was finally a loser, so we got all of our
freaking Reds. They were down 3-0 to the Yankees in the 9th, and the Yankees choked.
The Yankees lost?
Unbelievable.
Good Lord. Speaking of the Yankees, that is where I begin today's bet of the day. I'm going to go with a live line as this game has already begun. Give me the Yankees minus 3.5, an alternate live line plus 144.
I'm gonna propose something different here because on the FanDuel Sportsbook,
promo code 1620,
there is an odds boosted
I saw this
player prop.
I almost did this.
I'm going to do this, but
Our
I'm
king.
going to add an extra caveat. First of all, the bet is this. Ohtani and Tony Gonsolin each have to have 5 strikeouts tonight in their respective games.
Okay.
And Aaron Judge needs to get at least 1 hit.
It's plus 250.
It pays plus 250. But if Ohtani fails to get to 5 strikeouts, then Josh has to refrain from all Ohtani praise the rest of the season.
Hell no. Why would I agree to that? He's awesome.
If he's so awesome, he should get 5 strikeouts in the first inning alone.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'll write down the bet. I'm not taking the other action.
Get the eggs. Get the eggs.
Oh, see, he's scared.
Get
He's
the
scared.
eggs.
I want to praise him. What if he has a bad game? We all have bad days.
Put it on the list.
Oh, if he's so great, he would never have a bad game. Did Michael Jordan ever have a bad game?
Yes.
No, I never saw it.
Nick?
You want the Rays and the Dodgers plus 146?
That's the bet of the day.
Iowa. One of us has to make a safe bet.
You just did a parlay.
Yeah?
That's not safe.
I just know Ohtani's not going to do that. He's going to.
What's he going to do?
My pinky finger's hurt. I can't pitch anymore. He'll leave in the first inning.
Wow. He wouldn't do that. He's not no quitter.
John, I like Ohtani. I like
Ohtani too. I'd like him even more if he at least comes
Then
up with the
you
first
could
third
start
of this.
fawning all over him.
Well, I'm not going to. Because I have to cancel you out.
Cancel culture.
Because you're so over the top.
What if Ohtani comes to the Cubs and that's the only reason they win? What if it's a reverse Angels situation?
Oh, of course I would praise him.
You would shut up.
I would praise him even more because
call him the best baseball player of his
A,
generation.
He would be a winner, and
Don't
B, he
gaslight
would
us
help
and
my
say
team.
he's never said anything bad about him.
I have said good things about Ohtani. I'll say good things about him tonight if he gets 5 strikeouts. He is pitching against the Astros. That might be a good game to watch.
Where do you come out on this?
Even though the Angels suck.
It'd be a great game to watch.
And
MLB.TV.
Gonsolin's pitching against the Cardinals. That'd be a good game to watch.
Baseball.
But the Cubs are playing tonight, and I have to watch them lose.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Ravi Robin and Minnesota tomorrow in the summer school.
Mike, don't tell me I'm related to Nick Grimm.
Yeah, Nick was really excited to book his uncle Mike.
Yeah.
The voice of Minnesota football.
No relation.
Uncle Mike. I have an Uncle Mike. Nick has an Uncle Mike. He happens to be the voice of the Gophers.
I think we all have an Uncle Mike. Somewhere.
Do we all? Do you have an Uncle Mike, Nick?
Actually, I don't have an Uncle Mike.
You do, though.
I have an Uncle Kevin. I feel like everyone has an Uncle Kevin.
Yeah, I have no Uncle Kevins.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
I don't have an Uncle Kevin either.
Very.
If you missed any part of the program, check us out. The podcast, radio replays on 1620zone.com. Until tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Hasta luego.